Welcome everybody to our latest session of the Rise of Tiamat. This is session 2, so we are very early in this campaign. As usual, we'll do a quick recap of what occurred last week, and then we'll jump right into things. So group, you'll likely recall last week we started off with the group arriving in the city of Waterdeep, having come over from the land of Sobotaishu, and made your way here after receiving a notification of a summons that had come from Waterdeep, specifically for Gale, Kurtu, and a couple of other party members that are since deceased. So with the group having received this information and deciding to follow up on it, knowing that this is obviously something that's important, that the concept of a threat that could be dangerous to Waterdeep must be something very significant indeed. And of course, perhaps for some of you, knowing that Waterdeep has very deep pockets and would be able to reward potential saviors or helpers quite well. So with one or more of those things in mind, the group made their way back on ship over to the city of Waterdeep and arrived in the city. Once there, Kisho, who had come on behalf of the Shogun of Sobotaishu, he escorted the group over towards the location where they had been asked to go, where they'd received this summons from. Our satyr friend Rasmus got a bit distracted by some live music being performed in the city, and Gale sort of hung back trying to grab him and corral him, while Kisho did not seem to stop for anybody and just continued moving forward. So we had Kisho, Spectre, and Kurtu arrive at this bureaucratic building and get inside and begin the discussions there, while Rasmus and Gale got caught up in this live music and then found themselves trying to move through some different parts of the city. Gale actually found that he got pickpocketed while he was here, thanks to one of the local ruffians that calls Waterdeep its home. Luckily, they were able to discover a guard who was a fairly interesting character, but did ultimately guide the two individuals over to the building that they were looking for. So as our group rejoined and found themselves inside this building, they spoke with a sort of receptionist lady who's indicated that the individual that the letter was from, or who that was wanting to speak to the group, was going to be available pretty shortly, and essentially directed them to a room. The individual who wished to speak with them was Dala Silmerhelv, and she explained a little bit of her background, being that she works on behalf of the city of Waterdeep. And she said that her family has a long lineage here in Waterdeep, and she wanted to make sure to protect it at all costs. She was able to fill the group in on some details, primarily that there is an ongoing effort by the Cult of the Dragon to accumulate power, and the group, the council that has come together in Waterdeep, is set to oppose that. Dala explained that there's a difference of opinion among some of the different factions here in Waterdeep. Some want to be more direct, lash out directly at the cult. Others are proposing getting information. Others still are suggesting sort of a wait-and-see attitude. So all of this sort of conversation is going back and forth. While the group was making their way to that building, they actually heard this sort of strange sound, and everybody around the city sort of paused momentarily, looking around like, what in the world was that? And when speaking with Dala, she let them know that this was due to the sounding of a device known as the Drakhorn. She explained that this Drakhorn can be used, and dragons hear it very clearly and can sort of pinpoint its location, while others just sort of feel it or can feel the vibration of it perhaps, but can't really hear it as well or know where it's coming from. She explained that while she was for just inviting the player characters to the council, introducing them to them all, and trying to get them engaged in this anti-cult efforts quickly, that some of these factions weren't fully on board, and knowing that the summons was for the heroes that slew Cryovane and only a couple of those remain, Dala thought that it would be beneficial to try to get on the faction's good side first before trying to push forward with a meeting of the council faction members. So with that in mind, Dala proposed that the group take on a particular mission. She explained that there was some information as far as the last known whereabouts of this Drakhorn. They was supposed to be out in the Sea of Moving Ice, which is far to the north of Waterdeep. And she asked the group if they would be willing to make a trek out there. There would be a ship and some supplies provided, if the group is willing to head out there and track down the location of this Drakhorn and retrieve it would be ideal. There was a question of, couldn't we just destroy this? And she indicated yes, but there's always magical means to restore something that's destroyed, so taking possession of it would be better. With that in mind, the group had a few different questions, so this went back and forth for a bit of time, when eventually the group agreed with Dala's request and found themselves sleeping in Waterdeep's, one of Waterdeep's more fine inns, paying a fairly hefty price and eating really good food and drink. They then hit some of the local shops and picked up some last-minute odds and ends before making their way to the docks. Once they got there, Dala filled them in on a little bit more information, specifically that there was an individual by the name of Makath the Crimson, who was a member of the Arcane Brotherhood, and last known reports was that Makath was out in that area as well, in the area of the Sea of Moving Ice, and Makath is supposed to be sort of the expert on the Drakhorn. So with the this bit of information provided by Dala, the group boarded the ship and found that it was captained by this gentleman who had he was called Half-Face, as part of his face was badly damaged. He seems to mostly keep his head looking downward so as not to look directly at anybody. The group agreed to board the ship and mostly relaxed for the few days journey to the north as we get closer towards the open area where the Sea of Moving Ice is. So as the group made their way up in that direction, once they got closer and started noticing these chunks of ice floating, realizing they were getting into the Sea of Moving Ice, during one of the days of travel, they felt a tremendous lurch of the ship as though it had been struck by significant force on one side, and our group found themselves in combat with some Marrow. These Marrow were essentially like fish-type people who were striking out at the boat, trying to knock some of the individuals on the boat off. They were able to succeed with some of the crew members, and eventually one of them was able to throw a harpoon attached to a rope into Rasmus and yank him off the deck of the boat into the water. Thankfully, Kurtu was ready there with a quick polymorph spell, which turned Rasmus into a giant shark, and the battle continued, killing 2 of the Marrow, while 2 of the other ones, after sustaining some wounds, did indeed flee. So with this complete, the group asked the captain if there was any damage to the vessel. He went down below, talked to his crew, and indicated that yes, there was some minor damage and that they should pull the ship onto one of these icebergs, or chunks of floating ice, and tried to set to its repairs, because if they didn't, after a period of time, it would get worse and worse. There was also one fallen crew member who had gotten pulled overboard and unfortunately was killed by the Marrow before he could be rescued. So with all of these events occurring, the group did indeed decide to pull the ship up onto the iceberg, or this floating chunk of ice. As a reminder, the ship, it is a fairly large ship, but because of the way it's designed and its weight, the whole crew of about 40 men is able to all together lift the ship and actually place it onto a floating chunk of ice. So you can think of this as the boat, they sort of row it really close up to the ice, get it kind of close on, and then they start piling off of the boat and pulling it forward. So as the weight of the people leaves the boat, they can get it further and further up onto the berg itself and eventually have it sort of almost docked on an iceberg, you could think of it as, sitting there for repairs. So as the crew did just that and set to repairs, it became pretty apparent that these repairs were going to take longer than at first thought. Initially, it was just like maybe an hour or two. It looks like this was going to be taking longer. So as this time turned into more and more time and it started getting late, the group decided to pitch some tents out here on this chunk of floating ice. And we have all of our player characters resting and excited, except for Gale, who's currently on watch, keeping his eyes peeled, but unfortunately did not succeed on his perception check to hear the sound of these approaching creatures. So group, that's where we left off. Is there anything I missed that anybody would like to add?
Yeah, I have, when we were talking with Dala, we also learned the Cult of the Dragon. I have written down tries to summon chromatic dragons. 1, 2, they were using this thing called the Skyreach Castle. It's a flying fortress. And let me get my reading glasses on. Where they were, but unfortunately for them, the Skyreach Castle fell from the sky. And they're no longer using it, is what I have down.
Yes, great addition. Go ahead and take inspiration for that, Gale. So, Skyreach Castle was indeed a fortress in service to the Cult of the Dragon, and Dala explained that there was a group of adventurers who had been sent there to sort of check it out and were able to defeat the threats inside, actually bringing Skyreach Castle down to the ground, crashing into the ground. But unfortunately, that group of adventurers lost their lives in doing so. Yeah, good addition there, Gale. Anybody else have anything to add?
I've had something to mention about what we're doing here in the Sea of Moving Ice, but one of those factions that Dala mentioned that was meeting in Waterdeep and communicating was the Arcane Brotherhood, and who we're trying to find is Makoth the Crimson, who is a tiefling that's part of that brotherhood. So one of the biggest things that I remember is that the dragon's name is Arathidor, and apparently around their lair, so to speak, is some kind of magical shield that hides her from being able to be scryed on or anything like that. So that's why it's hard for them to pinpoint her location. So divination magic is probably out of the works for us to do the same. So we're just looking for that iceberg with the columns, the plateaued iceberg with columns. That's just kind of what I wanted to remind everybody.
Yep, good addition. Go ahead and take inspiration for that, Rasmus. So, clearing up a couple of things. The Arcane Brotherhood is actually not one of the factions that's in Waterdeep yet, but Makoth is indeed from the Arcane Brotherhood, and finding her would help you locate and maybe learn more about the Dracorn. But indeed, yes, this specific location you're looking for is home to this white dragon known as Arathotor, and has sort of a nickname of Old White Death. You guys may have heard this. And yes, indeed, you are looking for that iceberg, and it was indicated that once you got close enough to spot it, it should be fairly distinctive, and you'd be able to pick it out from the other just chunks of floating ice. So good addition there. Anything else from Spectre or Kurtu?
I just think Brian needs to use his inspiration to reroll perception check.
Not gonna help.
Too late for that. I already got inspiration, so.
Fair enough. Okay.
Hey, can I just add one more thing? There's also something about we know that her ship is adrift somewhere. How did we know that, or why do I have it in my notes?
That was the last that she was seen. Was her not her physically, but her boat was seen adrift near this iceberg.
Okay.
Indeed, yes. So I heard Spectre already has inspiration. Kurtu, do you have inspiration?
Not yet, Mr. DM.
All right, so we'll say with that combo from both Gale and Rasmus, they're adding details. We'll go ahead and give it to Kurtu as well. So the whole group will have inspiration. So adding a little bit there. Adding a little bit there, yes, Dala explained to the group that attempts to find Makoth using scrying or other magical means located only her ship adrift and heavily damaged. Some of the ship's crew were seen dead, but no sign of the tiefling sorcerer was ever found. However, the lair of a dragon as powerful as Arathotor, I'm going to never pronounce that right, dragon names are always so challenging, is no doubt protected against scrying magic. If Makoth is alive, in addition to the lore she can share regarding the Dracorn, the Arcane Brotherhood would be most grateful to get her back. Alright guys, with all of that information in hand, let us get back over to our map. Alright group, so we've got Spectre, Kurtu, and Rasmus currently in tents. As a reminder, it is dark out right now, so only dark vision would be of help here, as I know we'd indicated that there's no lights lit at the moment, primarily because most of the group, besides Rasmus, can see in the dark. So yeah, as the sound of movement occurs, so essentially where you're at, Gale, you're looking around, you're trying to see if you can spot anything, nothing sticks out to you. And yes, unfortunately, these creatures moving are indeed going to get closer to you. So I'm going to call this a surprise round. And you're surprised, Gale, as you turn to see this large creature essentially rushing right towards you. All right, so let's go ahead and get you guys in turn order. We'll kick on some more up-tempo music. And we'll make sure all of our opponents are in there as well. Okay, so the way this is going to work is Rasmus, you're inside a tent sleeping at the moment. So obviously your first turn essentially isn't even really a turn, nothing really to do at all. Gale, you spot this at the last moment, so your turn ends. You're no longer surprised, but you won't get a turn this first round. Spectre, you're still inside the tent sleeping, so your turn would pass, and then we would move to the first opponent. So from where you're at, Gale, you'll hear the sound of movement as a large creature pulls itself up on this ice ledge and starts making his way down here. As he does, you see he's nearby the ship here, and you can hear him sort of shaking at the ship, pushing against it, and so forth. Then, much closer to you here, Gale, you're going to see another one of these large creatures pulls himself up from the ledge, spots you out here on watch, and is going to step forward and try to tear right into you. As he does so, I will need 3 defense rolls from you, Gale.
Okay, I'm reading my brace. Creature that moves into reach. You have a melee weapon. You use your reaction to spend 1 spirited and make an attack. It didn't say he has to hit me.
So I'm guessing at this point in time you don't have your melee weapon ready to go because you've been on hours, right? Like sort of watching. So assuming you had it in hand prep the whole time would probably be a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, that would. Okay, here we go. I'll keep those.
You are hit twice, so both of the claws strike into you, and then the bite attack will miss. So as those sets of claws rend into you here, Gale, you're going to suffer some damage. That'll be 22 points of slashing damage. We then move to Kurtu, who's inside.
I'm gonna. Well, yeah. Before, when I see them, I'm get up or wake up. We're under attack.
All right, you shout this out as loud as you can. We'll see whether or not that wakes up our folks sleeping inside. So Kurtu's turn passes. We move to the next creature, who's going to also climb up on this ledge here. And once he does, he's going to make his way down below, kind of crunching onto the tent here. His foot basically stepping on the tent and part of Kurtu's head probably as he gets close to you, Gale, and is going to attack. 3 more defense rolls.
Okay, with that. Okay. Inspiration.
Okay, you burn inspiration on that second one. Okay, so both of the claws you will evade this time. However, the bite does manage to get through, chomping into you for 6 points of piercing damage. Okay, we move to Rasmus's turn. Rasmus, blind check to see if you're awakened by this sound. We'll see how heavy of a sleeper Rasmus is.
I feel like decently heavy, party hard, sleep hard.
You are correct. You are still sleeping here, Rasmus, not aware of what is going on as we move to Gale.
Get up, you lousy slugs! We're under attack! Alright, well, I'll get the one that's to the left of me and get my little pointer out. So, this guy here. Alright, I'm going to... Since my friends are down. Alright. I'm going to make a dragon attack.
So I imagine this is you unsheathing your blade from your side. You slash out towards the large creature, but miss.
Alright, second attack.
This time you do indeed manage to slash into the creature and wound it.
Alright, I'm going to use the superiority die on that. Try to trip him. How about that? Do you have superiority die in here? No. 8. Shit, sorry. I'm like the worst player.
I thought we had most of those built in for you.
Oh yeah, I just hit the trip thing. Damn it. Sorry. No. Oh.
Okay, you are unable to trip him, but I will take that 2 you rolled and add that as additional damage. So go ahead and post your damage for the strike that hit, and then I'll add 2 on top of that. Okay, your blade cuts into the large creature, and you notice its flesh has this squishy, rubbery type of feel to it, and shake to it even as the blade cuts into it.
Ew. Bonus action, second win. I might be here a while. Get up, you fools! Take 14. Let's see, and that will end my turn.
Okay, Spectre, blind check to see if you're awakened by the sound.
Do I get any kind of bonus to this? Because it really, like, this one is like jostling our tent and stuff. He said it stepped on it.
I'm definitely giving it to Kurtu because the guy's foot's basically on Kurtu's face. But I think where you're at, not quite so much. I mean,
Okay.
The check's not particularly high, so you'll probably be fine, but let's see what happens.
I got 19 passive perception. Let's see what happens. Blind check, you said?
Yes. Yes, so you are awoken by this sound. You can hear the movement around you. You probably feel the vibrations. You can hear the roaring of these creatures now. So it's sort of like your eyes flash open as this all hits you at once. So you're awoken. You were sleeping, so I assume you're prone at the moment.
Yep.
I also assume you probably don't have any weapons in hand. So what would you like to do?
Can I... Would it be an action to, like, give Kurtu a kick to the head and try to get him up?
If you want to actually wake him up, yes.
I don't think I have time for that. Gale is getting ravaged out there. So I think he'll wake up. He got stepped on. So it's dark, right?
It is, yeah.
All right. So I am invisible and also got a tent between me and this thing technically. So I'm gonna grab my bow, stand up from prone, or rather, I guess it's like part of my movement to like roll out of the tent. Like
Yeah,
there's an
I'm
open
kind of like basically crawling out. So call that 10 feet of movement to crawl out with bow in hand, and then you can stand up, spending half your movement.
Okay. And then I will go 10 more feet over. Actually, this boat over here, is there a way onto it? Like, is there like a ramp that we can grab or like rigging or anything?
There's rigging. There's typically a ramp, but it's not out at the moment as they all went to sleep. So you're assuming they, pulled that in. You can see this creature is actually clinging to the side, and it's looking like he's essentially ascending the side of the boat at the moment. But yes, if you wanted to try to like jump onto some of the rigging and pull yourself up, it's definitely possible. Probably in like the medium difficulty range.
And would that be an action, right?
You would have to move to get there, and then as long as you had enough movement to get to the top, you wouldn't have to use an action.
Okay. Then remind me, is this solid ice that we're standing on, or is this snow?
It's more like snow.
Okay. Then I think I need to get to the boat.
Yeah, and I'm assuming here, just to be safe, I would assume Gale, being that he's on watch, he probably does have his snowshoes on. You sleep, and I can't imagine sleeping with snowshoes. So being that this is snow, you basically be moving at difficult terrain movement.
Oh, that's bad. Yeah, I better get to the boat then so I can move around. So yeah, I will use 10 feet of my final 10 feet of movement to get here, and then I will spend my last key point to bonus action dash, so another 40 feet. So 10, 20, and then I'm going to try to move up the side of the boat here.
Okay, blind check to try to climb up this, jump up to this rigging, grab onto it, and pull yourself up aboard.
Okay. If I fail, can I use my inspiration, or do I have to declare that now?
Oh no, you can declare it after I tell you failed. You succeed. So you leap up, grab onto the rigging, and that would cost you an additional 20 feet to get on top of the boat now.
Alright, so that is my entire movement, but it's still dark, so I'm invisible up here, and then I'm going to shoot the one that looks like it's been hit by a gale. I assume it's like bleeding or something, so I will shoot at that one.
Alright, take your shot.
Okay. Dread Ambusher only works on the first turn of combat, not my first turn, right?
Correct.
So we would have lost it. Okay. So, bow shot 1, bow shot 2.
Yes, both of those arrows will connect. The first is a critical. Go ahead and roll that piercing crit.
Okay. Piercing.
Okay, we'll take maximum damage, so go ahead and post damage for both. I'll take max for the first one.
And I will, of course, use sneak attack on the first one.
Okay, so that will turn out to be
2d8, so 16 plus 4,
18?
and then...
Wait, why'd you say 2d8?
Because... Oh, never mind. Yeah, do not roll damage dice. Gotcha. I thought I was confused. I thought it was a true crit, so double dice. But yeah, you're right. It says
so 18.
Just one die.
Okay, so 18, and then the second one, 10. So a total of 28 points of damage as both of those arrows strike into this large creature.
Mm-hmm. And I believe that's all I got. I used my bonus action to get here, so yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, next up is this guy's turn. You're going to see he indeed is going to climb up onto the boat, as he is already sort of halfway up there, seemingly pretty easy based on his large size. He is going to come down here. He doesn't exactly see you here, Spectre, but you see him swinging at this area. So his attacks will be at disadvantage, meaning your defense rolls will be at advantage. 3 defense rolls, please.
All inspiration the first one. I'm going to get hit 3 times.
Okay, you inspiration. You sure you want inspiration the first one and not that third one?
I'll inspiration the third one. How about
Good
that?
choice. All right, so that'll be 2 strikes and then a miss. So 2 claw attacks against you, Spectre, as they manage to get into you. Or actually, no, I'm sorry. You have advantage on these because we just said that. So you're actually missed, and then you reroll. So you're missed all 3 times.
Hell yeah.
Okay, we move back over to this one, and he is going to strike out at Gale. So Gale, 3 defense rolls from you. Yes, you managed to evade all of the attacks this round. Kurtu, blind check at advantage.
Get up! What are you doing, sleepyheads?
All right, yes, Kurtu, you feel pressure on your face, and as you wake up, you realize there's just something large on your face, kind of moving a bit as it's part of the tent is kind of collapsed in on you. You can hear this shouting all around. It would be pretty challenging for you to exit the tent on the east side. You can try if you like, but it might be dangerous. But yeah, it is your turn.
All right, yeah, I'm going to go out the west side. So 15 to stand up.
So you're small, so I would say you can stand up in the tent, sure. So you stand up, spending 15. And then you step out into the heavy snow, so that'd be 30 to there.
Oh my golly!
All right, Adam, I'm going to go ahead and shoot this guy here with a firebolt. The guy that's wounded, of course.
Okay. Your firebolt.
And I'm going to inspiration that. Might as well use it while I got it, right?
All right, yeah, go ahead and burn that and re-roll. That will turn it into a crit. Go ahead and roll a fire crit. Normal damage, creature is on fire. While the creature is on fire, it takes 2d4 damage at the start of each of its turns. Can end this condition by dropping prone and spending 5 feet of movement. Okay, so we'll take the standard damage. And now the creature is lit on fire. Okay, yeah, so your firebolt strikes the creature, wounds it badly, and it is burning actively.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and use a bonus action here. Shoot, I probably can't hit that other guy. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and use my bonus action to... Yeah, I'll just attack. I'll just use my bonus. Sorry, my apologies. I'll use my bonus action for Quicken Spell. I'll just do it again.
All right, go ahead and burn that Quicken Spell. Yeah, go ahead. And is it same target or different target?
Yeah, I'm going to same target this guy.
Same target, okay. Yes, that firebolt will strike as well, wounding the creature a second time.
And now in my turn.
Alright, this creature is burning actively. 2d4 damage at the start of each of its turns. So go ahead and roll 2d4 there, Kurtu. Yes, and you see the flames consume this troll as he burns to the ground, hits into your tent, and you notice your tent now burning pretty heavily. Rasmus.
Would I need to make another check to see if I'm awake now?
Hey, roleplay. I'm going to say now in Elvish. Hey, Rasmus, get up, dude. Come on, we're gonna fight. Get up.
He's fucking screaming. I mean,
Come on.
It's some kind of bonus to this.
Rasmus, you are still sleeping, as you are maybe sleeping off a hearty drinking last night or something.
Jesus Christ.
It makes sense. I mean, you know, it makes sense. It's super dark for him. You
I'm
know,
the fight.
he's probably having a dream about fighting, so screams are probably just happening both in his head and in real life.
Jake, get up.
Alrighty, top of the round, or actually, I'm sorry, not top of the round, but second of the round, Gale.
Okay, so I see this creature, and I'm going to attack him with my Dragon Slayer sword.
Yes, the blade slashes into his hairy shoulder area.
I'm going to trip that.
That will succeed as you drop him to the ground. As you hit him and sort of spin around, he tries to react to that and falls to the ground.
Great.
All right, go ahead and post damage for the first one. Oh, that is the damage. Okay, so, and then...
You're like, go ahead.
Well, I was waiting for the superiority die, right? Because you get to add the damage.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so yes, that will wound him.
Okay. I'm going to hero point this. Seem to be last.
Okay, you make a second attack, which also hits, wounding him a second time.
Okay, action surge. I'm going to go again. And I'm going to try trip him again.
Okay, that will hit. He's already tripped, so obviously can't get more tripped, but yes, we'll take that extra damage.
And then my fourth attack. Oof!
Will unfortunately miss, because even though he's on prone and you get advantage, that's still not enough.
No, it's not. Okay, he's prone, right? But so he attacks with disadvantage on opportunity attacks. I want to move here.
Yes, and he will do just that, so give me a defense roll at advantage. Yes, that will count as a fumble for him. So
Nice.
roll a melee fumble. Yeah, he's quite embarrassed as he lies in the snow there.
What a loser.
Bonus action. I'm going to reach in and touch Rasmus. I'm going to use my face step ability as Spring Eladrin. I get to teleport him. It says a willing creature. Would he be willing, Adam?
He's sleeping, so he can't provide consent to anything. So no, he's not willing at that point.
Oh, okay.
Just drag him out in the fucking snow. He'll wake up.
We have no more actions left. I was hoping I could just
no.
touch him. Okay, well then I go back. Hey, at least he fumbled when he went after me.
Okay, move to Spectre's turn.
All right, we established a long time ago, back in the dragon graveyard thing, where we all got our shit pushed in by invisible stalkers, that we can't make opportunity attacks against things we can't see.
That
So
is the rule, yes.
Yeah, so as an invisible stalker, I will step away from this guy. He seems to not be able to see me since he did not attack me, so I will...
So I'll just
that
say
guy's-
for awareness, he knows where you are, but he can't see you. So he will not get an opportunity attack.
Yep, that's fine. that guy on the right is prone, so I am going to bonus action Hunter's Mark this guy. As soon as I find it on my spell list. So he is now marked. B and Elsa are going to swarm around his face. And then I'm going to make 2 shots. Since I'm not in melee range, these should be at advantage. Bow shot 1, bow shot 2.
Yes,
20 and
they'll
25.
both hit.
So 17, and then 6.
He indeed will be wounded by that shot.
And then, so I move 5 feet. I would like to try to move stealthily across this boat, try to confuse him and make sure he does not know where I am.
You need to use a action or bonus action to take the hide action. Do you have the ability to do that?
Well, regardless, I use my bonus action on Hunter's Mark, so no.
Okay, so then yes, he will know where you're at for now, depending on what you do. But yeah, he essentially knows where you are. You're just invisible.
Okay. Then I will still move away here. How big is this boat, did we say?
I mean, it's pretty good sized.
I'll just take my full movement and try to get out of his attack range. How about that? So I will go 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40.
Okay. Yeah, indeed. It looks like he doesn't know exactly where you're at this point, but he does see the tasty snack that is Kurtu, so he will pommel on down here onto the snow, move in towards Kurtu, and Kurtu, I will need 3 defense rolls.
Does he get any fall damage?
Not based on his size and the size of the ship. It's pretty short here for him. You'll also notice that as he's getting closer to you, you see his wounds healing rapidly.
All right, so 3.
3 defense rolls, yes. You duck under the first one and the third one, but one of those claws will manage to catch you for 11 points of slashing damage. Gale, you'll notice the same thing with this one. His wounds healing rapidly. He will stand up from prone. And he's going to attack you. So 3 more defense rolls, Gale.
I'll do that for the first one.
The first one will miss. The second will hit. And the third will miss. So he does manage to catch you with a claw. 11 points of slashing damage. We move to Kurtu's turn.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't add Hunter's Mark to the second shot. Or did you take the same damage twice?
I did not.
Okay, I'll roll a d6 for you.
Okay, Kurtu's turn.
1 whole extra point. It's gonna matter. Don't worry.
All right, Adam, I'd like to use my Fate Touched ability to get out of dodge. And that's as a bonus action, and I'm going to move 30 down here. And then as my action, I'm going to shoot the ice troll. That's by Gale.
Okay. And if we set you up a way to burn that Fey Touch, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, just deduct it. Your firebolt.
Yeah, I don't think we set it up. I deducted it though. I put it on my sheet. I used one of those squares to say Fate Touched, and I just used resources. It says other resources. So.
Okay, fair enough. Alright, Firebolt smacks into this creature, burning him badly. Okay, Rasmus, 3rd time's the charm. Blind check.
It is. And, I just want to say it's been a lovely sleep. I've really enjoyed it, but now it's time to come and save
Getting
my
his
friends.
gremlin.
And you do indeed wake up.
And then I guess initially, because I'm laying down beside like my torch and tinderbox, that I'll use my action to grab it and light a torch as fast as I can.
I don't know if you would just remember that other tent is on fire, so maybe there's enough. Maybe you'll see a fire already.
I would say there would certainly be some light as there is a fire there. So let's give you.
Is it like enough light for me to see the entrance to my own tent, walk
Yes.
out, and then light my torch?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that then. I don't know which direction I'm gonna go, but I'm gonna just hit this little button here, a light torch. Now I see. All right, so boom. But lighting a torch is an action, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
But they're not gonna like seeing that fire in your hands, so Barb's about to tank.
5. All right. Let me. Rage lasts for 1 minute and ends early if you're knocked unconscious or if your turn's in and you haven't attacked a hostile creature since your last turn or taken damage. Did anybody take damage from touching the fiery tent, Adam?
No, it's like this as the dead troll fell onto it with the fire, it's caught fire and it's like kind of starting to spread. So it's not like a rip-roaring fire at this point. It's just kind of a small fire, I guess you could say.
Okay. And then I don't think with my martial arts I can just take a bonus action attack, right? I have to take the regular attack first, right?
I think that's how it's worded, but yeah, if you want to post the chat text to that, we can definitely take a look.
All right, give me 1 second. Here we go.
Right. Yeah, when you use the attack action,
Yep.
you can make one on. Right.
Cool. All right, so there's not much I can do this this round because it takes an action to light the torch, but I don't have. I'm kind of squishy, so I'm gonna move at least back to here, and I will use my bonus action to not step of the wind, but patient defense.
All right, go ahead and burn that.
Cool. And I'll kind of stand in between Kurtu and Gale here and just kind of get down into a defensive stance, and you can see he's beginning to reach back for his battle axe. I'm awake, guys. I'm sorry.
Okay, Gale.
All right, I'm going to attack the troll.
That first attack will hit.
And then I'm going to do a menacing, which we do not have built in. Oh, I do. Yep.
He indeed will be frightened of your strike, probably more due to the fact that he just got hit by fire, but yeah, he is now frightened.
Great.
Wounded
That-
him.
Okay, that is. I'll go again.
That'll hit as well. He is wounded a second time.
Okay, then I'm going to move here.
Yes, and he will try to take that attack against you. You'll have advantage on this. He will miss.
Get behind me. That troll is afraid of me, but the other one is still angry.
Okay, Spectre's turn.
Alright, am I outside the range of the torch? It looks like it.
Outside
Yeah,
of the bright light,
from-
yes.
Yeah, from my image, I can't see at all, Spectre.
Okay. Then I'm going to make 2 shots at the injured one over there.
Okay.
Because he looks almost dead, so I'm going to try to get rid of him. 1 and 2.
The first one will miss, but the second one will connect.
Okay. 8 plus 6 sneak if I have advantage. I'm not sure if I do or not.
You do. He cannot see you. So yes, this arrow will catch him where he falls to the ground, and he is still burning a bit and doesn't seem to be moving.
Alright, and then I will use my movement, some of my movement, to go 5, 10. Just try to back off the light a little bit here.
Alright, Gale, you'll notice this big creature comes plummeting through here, trampsing all over your tent and just punching it right into the ground with his big fat feet. As he gets up next to you, Gale, he will take those 3 attacks, so 3 defense rolls. You will manage to evade all 3 once again as the creature is unable to strike you and move to Kurtu.
Let my cat alone!
Keeping in mind, Kurtu, you're moving at half speed here because of the snow.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so that'll put me right about there. That's okay. Still good spot for him for Firebolt.
Yes, that firebolt will indeed connect. Burning the creature.
Yeah, I'm going to save my last 2 sorcery points, so go get him, guys.
Okay, Rasmus.
All right. Rasmus will interact with the object and draw his great axe. And let's say he's going to make this movement here. He understands he'll be stepping on the tip, but because the ice troll kind of tramps it down, he has no problem following right behind him, and he is going to do a
You're moving at half speed because of the snow.
Yeah, I got 50 feet of movement, so that was my max right there.
Okay.
5, 10, 15, 20. Actually, I got 5 more, but it's
You got
it's
10
okay.
more. 10, 20, 30, 40. So you get 10 more.
Well, half speed and 50 would be 25 total feet, right? Right?
I don't remember exactly where you started, but if you were like this, that would be 40, that'd be 50.
Yeah, that's where I was. So that's perfect. Okay, so I will take my first swing with the battle axe. I'm going to do a 2-handed chop.
I will connect.
Oh, I can't do a 2-handed chop. I'm sorry, Adam, because I got that torch in my hand. So let me re-roll that D8 for you. So 5 plus 4.
Okay, the axe slashes into the creature, hitting into his arm.
Okie dokie, and then I'm going to, since I don't have any free hands, I'm going to use my good old noggin and ram the dude.
That will also hit.
Perfect. 7 bludgeoning. So
Yeah,
that
you
will
smash
activate.
into him, wound him again.
That will activate my agile parry for the next round as well. And with that attack, I am going to use my stunning strike after that ram attack.
Okay.
So use key, stunning strike. There's to burn the key, and
He is not affected.
oh, it rolled it right there. Perfect. Cool. Alrighty. So bonus action is just another unarmed ram attack.
Okay, yes, that will hit as well.
Cool. Sorry, a lot of moving pieces on this character, but there we go.
Smash into him again.
Yeah, so he kind of like swings down with the hammer and then just headbutts the creature in the back a couple of times and growls back at it, and he hopes that Gale can finish him off here.
And Gale, it is your turn.
He's going to move there for obvious reasons, and then he's going to say in Elvish, of course, "Hey, Rasmus, man, what took you so long? This guy's been out here for like 5 minutes."
I actually was having a dream that I was fighting a troll, so it was kind of weird.
How serendipitous.
That attack will connect. Wounding the troll.
And that's my last superiority die, I think. Yeah,
And
0
stripping
left.
him as well.
Excellent. All right, then here comes Oof.
That will miss.
It's the second time I tripped him and then with advantage missed. Well, come on, finish him off then. I don't know what's taking you so long.
Well, I'd love to, but now I have disadvantage.
Oh, sorry
Okay.
for us.
Yeah. I feel like I'm on the edge of the light here. I don't like that, so I'm going to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. I should be out of range now. And I will make... Oops. Am I even able to see him from here? Or is like the side of the boat too...
No, I'd say he's far enough away that you can see him there.
Okay, I will try to make the shots. I believe it cancels because he can't see me, but he's prone, so I have both advantage and disadvantage.
Yep.
So yeah, well, these will just be straight shots. 1 and 2.
Those will both connect.
Okay. 6 plus sneak because he's got my friends next to him. And the second one, and then I get 2d6 from Hunter's Mark as well. So 6 plus 6 plus 8 plus 8.
And yes, with both of those arrows combined and the fact that he's already got fire on him, he is indeed slain. So group, we find ourselves out of combat as you have successfully defeated these opponents, but you do indeed notice your north tent burning pretty badly, and the second one looks fairly trampled.
I'm going to throw a bunch of snow on there. Come on, Rasmus, get over here. Help me get this fire out.
I'll begin to shovel some snow and see if I can help put the fire out.
You're able to do so after a time, but you certainly notice that this is not great. It looks like there's been some significant damage to the tent. There's essentially, think of it as blackened parts. It's got a really bad burnt kind of odor to it. You're not sure how good sleeping in it would be at this time.
So what you're saying is it went from a 2-person tent to a Kurtu-sized tent then. That's okay.
Didn't you say that you could repair things, Kurtu?
No, that was I was thinking about being able to do that, but no.
If the fire's out, can I go in and see if our belongings are okay? We probably
Yes.
left stuff in there.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it wasn't burning long enough to destroy like everything inside. It's essentially just the outside, and it's very much scorched.
Okay.
How long into first watch was this, Adam? Because I think Gale was on first watch there, right?
He was, yeah. This was about 2 hours into the watch.
So who's gonna move the trolls? They're nasty.
Well, my watch is still going, so I think it's my job. You guys have to find a place to sleep.
Why don't we just... Is there space on the deck to just like... Maybe not like set up a tent, obviously, because you'd have to like hammer the things in, but could you like drape the tarp or something against like the winds or something and just have like a place on deck to...
Like a lean-to or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, you think you could fashion something like that?
Let's do that. That would at
Yep.
least get us off the snow in case something else happens.
Yes, we could maybe we could put the tents against the bolt, and I will continue to finish my watch. And we could use like the lean-to and kind of take up for half of that tent, maybe for cover.
Yeah, is there any way we can like scavenge parts of the destroyed tent to...
So I mean, I wouldn't say it's destroyed. It's been smashed pretty bad. So if you essentially pull the tent out, shake it out, that kind of stuff, you're probably gonna have to do some repairs for it to be fully functional. But overall, I mean, it's not in terrible state.
Okay. Would we be able to do that as part of the rest, or would that take like...
If
that
somebody has
strenuous
any
enough
kind
to-
of skill in doing this, any type of maybe proficiency with a tool that might apply, like woodworking perhaps, to help repair some of the stakes that would have been used to stake the tent down, something like that, I would say you could do that.
What about if I argue for survival skill? to build things in the outdoors to kind of make a lean-to work.
I mean, as a temporary lean-to, certainly. To repair this actual object, I would say no. That would be a tool skill.
Yeah, but we got some time coming up on the boats here, so maybe we can figure that out. But
Yeah.
for now, at least, let's just figure out a place where we can make sure everybody has a place to sleep.
I like the lean-to idea. Let's try to do something on deck. At any point, did is the crew all asleep, or are they still working on the boat?
It seems fairly quiet from the ship as you look in that direction.
Okay, so if we get up on deck, we're not going to be like bothering anybody. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
All right, so that the tent that got trampled on that I was in, I'm gonna try to pull it out and unruffle it and get all the stakes and everything, and do just I guess a general wellness check on the integrity of that one.
Yeah, it looks like most of the stakes have been smashed, or at minimum, where the lines sort of go to the stakes and are tied there, that's been snapped. Just the sheer weight of the trolls that came smashing through just destroyed all of that kind of stuff. So you can think of it as the cloth of the tent is in okay shape now that you've sort of stretched it out and all that, but the lines and the stakes look to be damaged.
Okay, but the canvas tarp part is still okay. It's just the actual stakes that got beat up. Okay, so we can probably use this to make another lean-to. Do we think that maybe we could combine this one and the other one and make like a 3-person lean-to? Maybe on the side of the ship here, using like the edge of the ship.
You could probably finagle something like that. Using the one to the north, though, again, because it got burnt, it really has that nasty burnt smell. So it's certainly not pleasant to be near.
Kurtu, do you have something for the smell?
All.
You know, magical tricks, you don't have anything to help with the smell.
Oh, I can. But it only lasts a few minutes and stuff. And I don't mind bad smells, according to you guys.
Here's an idea. What if we just went below deck?
Yeah,
wood-
we were encouraged not to because we needed to keep watch, I think is what
Right, but one person can keep watch above deck, and then the rest of us can get out of the elements. And
yeah, that totally makes sense.
I'll just make something small for myself on top of the ship or something. So then that way there I can cast fire down below if need be.
Well, we need to hurry up and just get inside and make sure we get enough sleep. So pick up the tents, leave the trolls here, get underneath, and I will continue my watch up above the deck.
gather up what's left of this tent.
Gail, if you want to grab me for a second watch, or third watch, I guess, after you finish, I'll go next, and then I'll wake up who? Spectre, Kurtu?
Sure.
Well, with trance, can I stay 4-hour watch and still sleep 4 hours, Adam?
Yes.
Yeah, so...
Did we trust you for another?
What do you...
They were sneaky bastards.
Ouch. Well, good thing I have nice armor.
Yeah, well done.
Go ahead to get under the deck, and I will get above the deck.
Adam, I'm just going to do whatever I can because I'm, as you mentioned, kind of small, right? I'm just going to make a little tent right here on top. I don't want to have to go underneath the deck and then come up, kind of thing. So
yeah, I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna take the blanket that I have and then the canvas from the other tent that's not all smelly and just wrap myself up like a burrito and fall asleep right here beside where Gail is, like right on the edge.
Okay, so it looks like I've got Gale, Rasmus, and Kurtu all above deck. Spectre, are you staying above deck, or are you trying to find your way below deck?
Is there do we have anything left that I could stay with the group? Or
Do you have anything like a bedroll or anything on you?
I have a bedroll, but
You can
I
have
just
my
don't know how
bedroll.
much- Yeah, I just don't know how much cover we're gonna have if Rasmus has got that tarp and we can't use the other one. I might have to go below and just like set up a bedroll somewhere inside the ship. I feel like it would be warmer in there with all the walls around me.
It certainly would be warmer, yes.
Can I sleep in cold weather gear?
You can. It's not super comfortable, but you can.
She's probably done worse. Had probably worse arrangements. Not uncomfortable to the point that I wouldn't get a rest, or
No.
okay. Then yeah, I will bundle up as best I can and just try to be somewhere near the stairwell, but like not obviously not like in the way if anyone was like marching up and down.
Okay, fair enough. And so, Gail, you're taking the rest of your watch, so a couple more hours, and then you're waking Rasmus up next?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, fair enough. So that time goes by without any further incident as you're sort of just watching out and looking into the water. You can see that the chunk of ice that you're on, Gail, is indeed shifting. You can hear the sound of crackling every now and again as this big chunk of ice might move and hit a smaller chunk of ice. They sort of collide, and then you see them shifting apart. You do hear occasionally the sounds of something large out in the water, or maybe large somethings. It sounds more like spraying of water, perhaps, from something. You're not sure exactly what. But yeah, it's uneventful as far as any kind of dangerous activity to you.
Excellent. Hey, Rasmus, get up, man. It's your turn.
No. Okay, Gil. I'm
Hey.
up.
Okay, well, and there's some weird noise going on in the water. I'm not sure where it's from, but beware of that. And those trolls really stink. But all right, bud. Have a good shift.
Okay. Do you want my tarp and blanket?
Well, yes, that would be good, especially since it smells. Wait, oh, at least it's warm.
So I'm gonna hand it to him to wrap up in, but I'm in cold weather gear and just cuddled up in this for like 2 straight hours, so I'm sure it's all smelly from Seder smelly. But I'll light a torch and just do like a general patrol around the top of the boat, while I'm going through my 2 hours every now and then, just stopping back and then continuing around and keeping an eye on the water because he said that he was hearing noises.
Okay, so while the rest of the team is sleeping and you're taking your watch, go ahead and give me a blind check here, Rasmus. You hear the sound of something large off in the distance. It sounds sort of like a bestial roar. You can't place it to what type of creature it is, but it sounds reasonably large. You're kind of just looking out that way, realizing that your light only goes so far.
Can you give me an arrow directionally from which way I heard the sound coming?
To your east.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna hop off the edge of the boat then, using my beautiful satyr legs that are ripped and muscular and full of glory, and just begin to do a small investigation, kind of trying to blend in with the troll bodies here and make sure I don't see anything.
Hey, how tall are you, Rasmus? In my mind, are you like little Tomness or are you bigger?
Let's see. So he is 137 years old. He's got pale white skin. He has black hair, both on his head and on his legs. He's 4'2" and he weighs 215 pounds.
Wow, 4'2", 250.
Yeah, he's a chonky little
Stocky
dude, man.
boy.
Yeah, it's like 80% legs.
Motherfucking Philoctetes over here.
Yeah, you know how like all of the guys in the gym don't ever do leg day? They always skip it. He skips all the other days. He only goes leg day. So yeah, Adam, I'll just hang out around here doing these little patrols around the corpses of these ice trolls because, if something's attracted to their smell, then I'll be able to use their bodies for shielding and run away if I need to. But I don't want to go like too far to the east. But I figure the smell of dead bodies is probably what's attracting some kind of monster. That's his rational thought, though.
Okay, fair enough. So I'm going to go ahead and lock the tokens where you're at the moment. So as you hear the sound, you sort of pop down and you start looking around with the light from your torch. Okay, so from where you're at the moment, you hear the sound again of this roar much, much closer to the east. And I'm going to go ahead and put us in initiative. Okay, so we've got, let's see, 3 of you up on deck, presumably sleeping and or trancing at the moment.
Well, I'm below deck somewhere, but close to the stairwell.
So you went below deck, all right? Gotcha.
Yeah. Because we didn't have enough stuff to go around.
Okay, so Gale, you're sleeping. You haven't been alerted to anything at this point. Spectre, you're also sleeping, haven't been alerted to anything. Rasmus, your turn. You hear this roar to the east, much closer. What do you do?
I am going to move back towards the boat. And about how high is the boat's deck?
From the ground to the deck is about 20 feet. There is this sort of netting or rigging on the side that you can use to climb. When you're in combat, it's a little bit challenging. Out of combat, when you can take your time, not really difficult.
Can I just say I'd use my running start to kind of run to here and leap up for a high jump?
As long as you can high jump 20 feet, yeah.
What is the high jump rule again?
It's not as much as you'd think.
Well, with him, he jumped to the second level porch.
Yeah, he used key to do that, though.
Yeah.
All right, high jump. When you make a high jump, you leap into the air a number of feet equal to 3 plus your strength modifier. So, let's see, if you move at least 10 feet on foot immediately before the jump. Yeah, so you have to do that. So I think even if you have like a +4 strength, you'd be looking at about 7 feet up.
Yeah, okay. Then what I'll do is using my key, when I'm making the movement, I'm going to do the step of the wind as I traverse that distance, and then I can roll a d8 as well for my mirthful leaps. So that should give me 14 plus 6, so that's 20 exactly. So I should be able to leap up onto the deck.
That works.
Cool. And as I land on the deck, I'm going to lean over to Spectre, who's like,
Spectre's below deck.
Spectre's below deck, right?
I don't know
okay,
where
so
I am right now.
So let me go with Kurtu though, because Kurtu's got range. So I'll step here behind Kurtu. I guess I'll probably only have enough speed to get to here. Actually, here 5 more. Okay, yep. So I'll reach out to Kurtu and I'll try to shimmy him awake. I'll say, Kurtu.
So you've used bonus action, but you still have your action, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so use your action. You wake Kurtu. That works.
Okay, Kurtu.
Turn for a watch.
No, there's a lot of big beast noises coming from the east. I can't see that far.
Okay, so you want me to get my zappers ready then, huh?
Yes, and we should probably wake the others. I think it's those dead bodies.
Before Kurtu's turn. All right, since no one is looking that way that has good vision, you're not going to see much. And then we move to Kurtu's turn.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wake Kiddo up since I'm here. Get up, sleepyhead. We may have friends to visit and fight us again.
No, I don't want to get up.
I know.
And I don't know where the door is. I'm assuming it's here.
The way to go down deck, there's 2 ways. There's one at the front of the ship, and there's one at the rear of the ship. So think of like essentially here-ish, and then here-ish.
I think I would have seen Spectre though go down into an area, and because he said she was going to stay kind of close to the main entrance there. So
Sounds like she went south.
I'm gonna go get Spectre.
And I'm just gonna go here and go.
Spectre, get up! Get up, Spectre!
So you've used your action to wake Gale. You call out to Spectre, and we'll see if Spectre wakes up.
His voice is real shrill and grating, and she does not like him. So it's you know that.
Wait a second. When we first met, I think I remember you were bowing down to the giant Kurtu.
Only for the purposes of swearing my oath.
You call
So-
it your thing, I call it mine.
you know that thing where like human brains are like hardwired to react to like the sound of babies crying. I feel like I get some kind of bonus just because it's such an annoying noise, you know. But we'll see what happens.
Anything else on your turn, Kurtu?
Oh, sorry, I didn't know you were waiting on me. Yeah, I'll end my turn here. Oh, so that was my action. There. Yep, no, I'm good.
Okay, top of the round, Gale.
Why are you guys so alarmed? So I'm gonna look and I see like there's now 2 troll bodies.
You
So-
look to the east and you can see 2 troll bodies very close to you. You can see one at the very edge of your vision that seems to be moving horizontally to the east.
Hey, Rasmus, it's just like a vulture or something. Why are we awake? And I'll take the dodge action.
Because I can't see. I just heard roars.
Okay,
Blind check?
Spectre, blind check. Yeah, so as you're sleeping, you suddenly are awoken. Your eyes flash open as you see up the stairs Kurtu calling down to you. You also notice as you're awoken, you hear some of the crew members, God, now what time is it?
God damn it. So I will stand up from prone. I assume I'm prone, and I will go the next 20 feet. I don't know exactly where I am, but I'm probably like somewhere in the stairwell at this point.
Yeah,
It's like,
I would
what is-
say
yeah.
standing up, getting undone from whatever you're like wrapped up in or whatever, getting all the way up, that's probably going to be a full turn, like moving and dashing to get up.
I don't think I want to. Well, am I close enough to ask him without dashing? Am I close enough to ask him what's going on?
Yeah.
What's going on, Kurtu?
It says that there's a creature to the east of us.
I will just have moved my full movement and take the dodge action in case anything happens, and I will be ready to go above deck and do something if the need arises.
Okay, so we will assume you're still below deck just for a purpose. I'm going to put you here, and
Yep.
we'll assume you're basically just a little bit below Kurtu at the moment.
Okay.
All right, if that's the end of your turn, go ahead and hit your end turn button, and we will move to Rasmus.
Okay, I'm just going to, let's just say, dodge as an action. I don't want to, be the reason why anything happens. So I'll say, like, I'll duck down and kind of put my back against the wall here and bring the torchlight below the railing, so it's not like out in the open and obvious, and be ready in case something tries to come and attack me.
Okay, before Kurtu's turn, Gale, I think you're probably the only one that can see this. You'll notice the body gets moved further away from you.
Hey, Rasmus, it's just someone's taking the bodies. Just stay down.
Okay, and assuming no one's doing anything crazy at this point, I think we're out of the danger zone, so I'll go ahead and get us out of combat, guys.
Good shit, boys. Level heads prevail.
Okay, Rasmus, can I go back to sleep now?
Sure. Thanks for waking up. I can't see that far in the dark, but just wanted to be sure. You guys, everybody, get back to sleep. Kurtu, I'll wake you up soon.
You're right, though. It was a good call to let us know, just in case. Maybe we would be next. That's great. Lovely. Good night.
Good
Yes,
night, guys.
Good
Sorry.
job, Rasmus. I forgot you can't see well. Hey, Kurtu and Jasmine, can you speak Elvish?
Who the fuck
Jasmine,
is
where did that
Jazz?
come from?
Oh, sorry. Where did that come? Spectre.
Yeah, I don't know. Did you watch Aladdin recently or something?
That's not even the name.
Josephine. Josephine Jasmine. Oh my God.
It's so hard to keep track, right?
So Spectre, do you speak Elvish?
Good question. Probably not.
Not I.
Common, Draconic, Infernal, Abyssal, and Taichu. No.
Oh, well, that's cool. So when we're having our normal conversations, it's you guys don't understand it. Huh? It's interesting. Okay, I'm going.
I just want everybody to imagine real quick though, because Elvish is super elegant, and it's a very elegant language, and you got these two very unelegant individuals slinging Elvish back and forth at each other.
particularly when you think that I cannot speak properly anyway.
Yeah, your accent is rough, but get back in your trance.
Okay, Rasmus, the rest of your watch goes uneventfully so. And who are you waking up?
The young Dragoran. And because my tent and blanket are being used by Gale, I will take my bedroll and go find where Spectre is down below deck and just pass out near where she was. And then sing Kurtu up for his turn, snuffing my torch as I do so.
Okay, Kurtu, while you're up on deck during your watch, I would like a blind check from you. It is very quiet and still during this time, Kurtu, as another couple of hours pass. And I assume, Kurtu, you're waking up Spectre?
Do we need to? That's 8, isn't it? Gale was 4 because he had.
Oh, right, Gale's 4.
Yeah.
So 4, 6, 8. Yeah, that is 8. Okay, so you guys have awoken to the morning and find yourself seeing the first light rising up on the horizon here. And yes, it is indeed morning.
Did everybody get a long rest? I know we had a little bit of an eventful evening, but
This is not considered an area of safety, so no long rest.
Can they spend like a short rest and now it's a new day, or how does that work? Like, do they get their hit points back?
Nope, you have to spend a short rest to get hit points back, but if you do, you get all of your hit points back. So it is the new day, but you guys can certainly spend a short rest now if you like.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take a short rest.
I'm good. I didn't lose any health and just lost a couple key points, so.
Okay, so Gale, you spent one of your short rests for the day. Anybody else want to spend a short rest?
I'm okay.
I'm good.
Okay, it is the morning. You see that the light is coming up. The crew is beginning to move about once again. You can see that they attend to these repairs. It only takes like another hour before it seems though this is all set and the crew seems ready to go. Spirits a little bit more enlivened. You can hear some tales from the crew members as they're talking with one another about the disturbances in the night. And as they come up on deck and look out and see the dead trolls, you hear them speaking to one another and pointing somewhat excitedly. You hear the word scrag being mentioned multiple times.
Now, if any of you happen to be good at putting tents back together again, you guys, that would be helpful if anyone knows that.
As you ask that, you notice one of the crew members looks and sees that what you're talking about and He nods and says, "Oh yeah, we've probably got some extra supplies here. We could just swap it out for what you've got. Let me see what I can find." And a short while later, he does indeed replace the stakes and sort of rethreads the lines here, seemingly fairly easy. It looks like he's pretty adept at this, so you can assume your one tent is repaired. The other one is still burnt, scorched, and soot-stained and has this bad odor to it. But other than that, is functional.
I claim use of the second one.
So
Yeah, but no, yours is the one that got burnt.
Yeah, that's why I want this. That's what the second one is still burnt. I want to keep that one a little bit.
Oh, okay, I
Sounds
see.
good to me. I like it.
hey, Adam, can I find a captain?
You can indeed, yes. You notice the captain is coming above deck shortly thereafter as he does so, talking to the crew, and you hear him motioning and discussing with the group about, hey, let's get ready to get the boat back in the water so we can start making our move.
Hello, Captain. Good morning. How did you sleep?
You see he turns towards you, keeping his head down once again. Better than some nights, worse than others. Yourself.
Well, as you can see from the starboard side, that we had an encounter with 3 ice things that came up, and one of them actually climbed up on the railing, and there might be damage. I want to let you know, but we defended your ship, and we killed them. And also, I heard one of your shipmates call them the Scarb or something.
Scrags. That is what they're called. Some people call them ice trolls, but they're called scrags.
So is this a normal threat for you as you go through with your ice machine?
We see them occasionally, but usually off in the distance, one at a time. Just 3 of them, that seems pretty unusual.
That's very interesting to me too. So, is the ship okay? Just be aware it was sort of over in this direction, where right next to you. Yes.
You notice he sort of walks towards the railing, just eyeballs it a bit, motions with his hand, and almost kind of shakes it a bit to see if it's any damage. And he nods and says, "It doesn't look any worse for wear."
Excellent. I'm gonna go check on the scabs.
You see he kind of just inclines his head towards you.
Okay, Adam. I want to see with my check the track. I want to see if I can look in the snow or look for any claw markings. What likely might have dragged this ice troll off the edge?
Yeah, you can certainly do that. Blind check. Do you have your token selected when you did that?
I think so. It's there. No.
Maybe it was just lagged. I got it this time. Yes, I'll say you notice fairly large paw prints. You get the impression of some kind of large bear.
Looks like bear. Now, also, is there anything particularly marks like on the face of these trolls that I might think is supernatural?
Supernatural? No. I would say you do notice some odd growths on their body. Like, for example, one of them has an extra finger. The other one is kind of missing a patch of its fur, and you can see underneath the flesh, it almost looks like, in a very rough fashion, a set of eyes and a nose, like underneath the flesh.
Okay. I'm going to kneel down and take my dagger and cut into that and see what those eyes are.
Okay, yeah, so you cut around it, trying to expose this, cutting through the rubbery flesh, and sure enough, you notice there is like a shrunken head inside of this creature. It looks similar to the troll's own head, but much smaller in development.
Is this from the belly or something gross like that?
No, it's actually near the shoulder, so like where the hair would be, but it's just like missing hair, and there's this like kind of pushing against the flesh. But now that you've cut it open, yeah, it almost looks like a deformed secondary head.
Does the other one have it too?
He does not.
So I'm gonna cut that head out. Ew.
Okay, yeah, you spend some time here separating this deformed head from the body.
And you said it looks similar to the ice troll head, huh?
It does, yeah. It's a miniature head in all respects. It just looks like almost like maybe a second head. If it had fully grown, it would be a two-headed creature, but because it didn't, it's just a regressed head.
It's kind of gross. So I think what I would do, I'd stand here at the bottom and call for his attention, the captain, and lift up the head and say, "Are they supposed to have two heads, or this was underneath the fur? Is this a normal thing for the scabs?"
He looks down and he inclines his head a little bit, like giving you a little bit of a nod of the head. Yes, the creatures regenerate, and sometimes when they suffer bad wounds, the regeneration heals in strange ways.
Ugh, that's gross. So I'm just gonna throw it up over my shoulder, like dismissingly, and drop it as far as I can towards the body.
Okay.
Back up, and I need to have a glass of water or something.
All right, yeah, and the crew begins dispersing different foods, pretty much salted fish and other kind of preserved foods, having little bits of breakfast here, anything that's kind of stored and easy to eat and get to. And then you notice the captain rallies them pretty quick to get the boat back in the water. Is there anything you guys want to do before the crew begins getting the boat in the water and you continue on your way?
Gail, did you leave that shrunken head over on the edge?
No,
Or did you bring it up with you?
I threw it. It's right over there next to the one on the north. You see it? It looks like a little.
It's near its mommy.
Well, Captain, didn't you say there was somebody on board? I think you said his name was Jenkins, and he speaks this language of these locals who hunt and things like that. Do you think he would know anything about that head and if it's connected to their culture?
You see he looks towards you, connected to the ice hunters culture?
Yes. Just trying to put together a few things in my mind, but you said earlier when the Marrow attacked us that it seemed coordinated and like they were, it was a little bit abnormal. And then this, trolls moving in a group of 3 with a head shrunken inside of one of them. That's another abnormal thing. So I'm trying to see if we're being targeted, if someone knows we're here.
I'm wondering if it's just a weird regeneration thing. Don't trolls regenerate?
Yes, to be honest, the second head doesn't surprise me as much as the Marrow attack. The Marrow attack certainly seemed coordinated. Scrags looking for any kind of food is not surprising, but to have 3 of them together, that's a little strange. They usually are solitary or maybe occasionally a pair, but for 3 of them, hard to say why.
Okay, well, that's really all I was thinking.
If you are being targeted, I don't think there's anything here obvious that we could point to say that it shows that. Is there anything else? I need to get the crew. We got to get this boat back in the water if we're going to make some good time today.
Let's go.
All right, as you all get off of the boat at the captain's urging, and so does the crew, and this process of lowering the boat back into the water bit by bit, then people begin to board, get more towards the rear, shift the weight, allows the boat to be resettled into the freezing water, and you find yourself back out on the Sea of Moving Ice proper, and moving through, and you notice the crew using some of these large oars are pushing the smaller blocks of ice out of the way as they row the boat closer, or I should say oar the boat closer through this section. You can see different large chunks of ice now poking out from the water as they're sort of moving their way around here. You guys travel this way for about 2 hours or so, and are you all above deck or below deck during this time?
So for this time, I'm going to be at the what you call it, the ballerinas in the back.
I personally, Adam, would this be considered safe? Like on the vessel while it's moving?
If you're talking about to get a long rest, no.
Okay. Then if it seems like I couldn't get a good long rest, then what I will do would probably be staying around up top with Gale, but not along the edges like I learned last time.
Okay, so it sounds like you're standing in the middle of the ship on upper deck, and Gale, you're near the rear of the ship. So you wanted to be near the rear as well, then Rasmus, but in the middle rear.
Indeed.
Okay, so I'm going to assume both Gale and Rasmus are kind of back by the captain because this is where the wheel is, and he's kind of turning this with the little bit of wind that's coming through in addition to the oars to direct the boat. How about Spectre and Kurtu? Where are you guys?
I'll probably roll a D2. I think she's popping up and down. It's probably too boring to stay down below, and I think now that we're a little farther in, we're expecting that we're closer to our destination, so she would want to pop up every now and then to see if she can spot anything. So let's say 1D2, 1 I'm above deck, and 1 and 2 I'm somewhere below deck whatever bullshit you're about to throw us happens.
All right, fair enough.
I'm above deck, probably in like a nook or something. Like there's that stairwell, right? And then there's like another set of stairs up to the where the wheel is. So I'll be above deck.
So if it'll make it easier for you guys, I can just do it this way, and you can take a look and see where it is exactly you'd like to be.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Sure. Right, so the stairs down are this one here, right?
Correct.
And then there's like a raised platform above me here. And
Right.
then like walls to the side. So what's this? Is this like a door to a room or something? I can't tell what this is.
I don't think it's a door. No, that looks like to me like a ladder to get above.
Okay, then I won't be blocking like any thoroughfares, but I'll be hanging out in this corner like an edgy rogue and just like occasionally looking out overseas, see if I spot any obvious big MacGuffin iceberg.
Okay, fair enough. And Kurtu, you're good where you're at?
I want to see if I need to melt any icebergs for everybody.
Okay, keeping your eyes peeled as you're looking off in that direction. All right. So
Actually, Adam, can I really quickly? Can I change it to me just kind of manning this crossbow thing?
Ballista? Sure.
Is that fun? Yeah. I'll just say that I'm just holding on to it and slightly rotating it, keeping an eye on the back.
Okay, yeah, so you guys are moving through the sea of moving ice, these very large chunks, making progress as you're moving closer and closer. Again, keeping in mind that because this is the sea of moving ice, where exactly you're going is always a guessing game. So you notice the captain's trying to basically make big swaths, like kind of do this big circle almost in a way, but kind of like a half circle, then another half circle the other direction. So he's trying to make cover a lot of ground so you can hopefully find this large iceberg that you're looking for. After about 3 hours or so of traveling in this way, off in the distance, Kurtu being in front of the ship, you spot this before anybody else does. You notice that there is a canoe that's actually looks like kind of a primitive canoe, like covered with some furs and things in the water. And you notice that there are quite a few individuals in it, all dressed up in this fur-like equipment. So think of this as like seal material or seal cloth. You can notice some heavier furs, maybe like bear fur, that type of thing. But these humanoid-like figures, there seems to be about a dozen of them in this long canoe, and they're oaring. They're probably about 200 yards from you or so. You can kind of just make them out at the edge of your vision.
Ding, 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 ding. I'm making a little bell noise.
Like the Assassin's Creed Black Flag. That's what I think.
Well, I'm moving it over there to like I'm more closer towards the middle of the ship, and I'm going to say,
There's people on a canoe. They've got furs and they look like they're native to the area.
Somebody get Jenkins.
I assume they're not on the map, right?
They're
It's
not.
somewhere. Yeah,
200
somewhere.
yards northeast.
Well, Spectre,
I just heard the bell. I just heard the bell.
Spectre, like, you want to get Jenkins to come up and see if this are the tribal ice people?
Does it coming up here and like looking out in that direction? Does it look like they noticed us? Have they like changed their course in any way? Like, are they coming towards us or like away from us? What's going on?
They seem to be moving away from you. So where you guys are going, you're basically moving at like a northwest trajectory, and they're moving at like a northeast trajectory.
Maybe we should ask the captain to follow them. They might be. There might be a settlement nearby. I don't know if we're gonna catch them in this thing, but we might find their home and maybe then ask them if they've seen anything nearby.
What do you think, Captain? You think that's a good idea? Follow that little skiff?
So I imagine you guys are sort of shouting back and forth at this point in time, based on the the length of the ship.
Well, I asked that to Kurtu. I don't think I'm shouting.
Oh,
Okay.
I think we need to ask the captain if those are the village people here. I don't know them, but yeah, that's a good idea.
So as he says that, I'll make my way back to the back of the ship and convey that information that Kurtu saw. I guess I saw them too, right? I have enough vision, and it's broad daylight, right?
Yeah, once you stepped up there, you
Yeah.
can see them.
Yeah. So I will convey to the captain that cat get off of me. I will convey to the captain that we saw some natives. We think a canoe with like furs on it and stuff, and they were heading northeast.
The captain
So-
looks towards you, Spectre, and says, "Hold the wheel just a moment. Keep her steady." And you see he steps back here and opens this chest and pulls out a long eyeglass, and you see he makes his way to the front of the ship.
I have absolutely. I don't know if I know how to steer a boat, but I will do what I'm told is to the best of my ability.
Just don't make jerky motions with it. That's all. You're doing great. It's just going to be a great day.
So you notice he has this eyeglass that he puts up to his eye, and he's looking off in that distance, and you notice him nodding slowly, and he looks over towards you, Kurtu, as this occurs, and he says, "Yes, those are ice hunters. They're probably hunting seals, if I had to guess."
That's a lot of them in one boat.
That's tribal hunting party, yes.
But you be you, Captain. You know what we should do and we shouldn't do. I don't know. Should we follow them or do we not follow them? Maybe they know where we're going.
Oh my god, I wish I was in this conversation.
He looks over towards you and he says, "To be honest, it could go either way. If they're, well, we could head over towards them and just try to get more information. Perhaps that would make the most sense, because they should be able to tell us what's happening in this area. They'll have better information than we would."
Especially if the ice keeps moving, and that way maybe they know where it's moved to.
He turns and looks towards you with just that half face as he eyes you, and you can't really read his expression as he steps off. And as he gets closer towards you, Spectre says, "You're relieved of duty. I'll take it from here."
Let go of the wheel.
He'll step up and hold on to it. "Yes, it does indeed look like a tribal hunting party. I would suggest we follow them. We'll see if we can't close the gap between the two of us, and maybe we can engage them in conversation."
That is an excellent plan.
Let's do it. It's the first lead we've had all day.
All right, so you notice the captain is trying to do just that, keeping the vessel pointed in that direction, having to move again around all this ice, trying to navigate it as best he can. You can tell if you're watching Kurtu that you guys close the gap occasionally, but then there's some chunks of ice that are large that this boat kind of has to go around, and there's others where the canoe, being much smaller, seems to be able to kind of dip between gaps that this ship really couldn't fit. So it's sort of like taking a bit of time as you're trying to catch them and then falling back, and this continues on for an hour, then another hour. There's a couple times where they kind of slip from your vision, but the whole time the captain is relying on that eyeglass and seems to be confident that he does see what is going on in that direction. So this process continues for a while. After about 4 hours or so, you notice as you're getting closer in this direction, you move past this large chunk of ice, and as the boat turns and you spot once again the canoe off in the distance, you can see the canoe seems to be making its way for this very large iceberg. This iceberg seems to match the description that was given to you by Dala.
Hey Rasmus,
Looks like where we're
that's
going.
yeah, hey, Rasmus, that's the iceberg with the big columns on the edge. Do you see it?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, we're here.
That's. Did we follow those ice hunters all the way back to here?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's where they live.
Yes, but hang on. Let's think about this. If this is the last place that she was seen, and we know that a dragon is nearby, should we just go making friends?
Yeah, you think they're luring us to a trap?
Fucking, I didn't mean to do that. Where am
I'm
lost.
I don't think it's outside of the possibility, right? I mean, this is a big ship. If we could see them, they should see us, you know?
You're right. So this doesn't feel right, Captain. Do you feel like, what is your sense in combat? Do you feel like they're directing you to come to a trap?
I hadn't considered that, but I suppose anything's possible. But in the past, we haven't had hostile interactions with these folks. They tend to like to stick to themselves, but when we are in this way, occasionally we trade with them, small bits here and there.
Well, either way, the iceberg is where we're going. I don't think we're going to be able to disguise a vessel this size.
Yeah, we are clearly
Approaching.
been detected.
Think they have some kind of defenses that they could employ against a vessel like this?
Well, the captain says that they've never been angry at them, and that they're making trades.
Someone refresh my memory. Has this dragon that they mentioned, has it been in this area a long time, or is it a recent arrival like Cryovane was? Did we ever find that out?
Does anybody remember?
I think, based on my notes here, and I was writing quickly as we were talking to Dala, but I think this dragon is new here because they think it's the one that attacked Luskin. So if it's moving around and it's attacking different places, then it's probably maybe made a secondary layer here. I would guess, out of character.
Or in character, either way. Those are very astute things.
Well,
But yeah, that's what she believed. The council believes that Arathator attacked Luskin. They don't have proof, but they believe it is the same dragon. So if that's the case, Luskin, Adam, I'm sure, is not anywhere close to where we're at now.
It is not.
So then the dragon's moving.
so if the dragon is new to this area, from the dossiers I read about you guys, your exploits in Phandalin and all that, Cryovane activities changed everything in that area. So if this dragon is new here, it's possible that the ice hunters have been affected in some way. Maybe their behaviors have changed. Maybe they're more on edge if a super predator has arrived in the area.
Hey, Dylan, you got the note there?
One more time. What am I looking for?
Adam says blind check.
I didn't want to interrupt the conversation.
Yeah.
Sorry. I didn't see the chat. I'm sorry. I was listening as well, and then I was trying to read through my notes here.
Yep, no worries.
Okay, it looks like the sandbox crashed, so let me restart that real quick, and then as soon as you see it, I think it'll prompt. If not, I'll let you know. I'm going to have you do that one more time. All right, go ahead and give it a try now.
Okie doke, here we go.
So based on the information that you just recalled, and as you're remembering how Dala explained this to you, the incident with Arathader at Luskin happened a long time ago. But the information that they have pins that Arathader was one of the dragons that attacked Luskin, but this was not a recent thing. This is from quite some time ago.
Okay. But even still, even though it had some timing in between it, you would think that a dragon that was that big and things like that, and this is just me thinking out loud, guys, would probably nest up somewhere, but with that, what was it called? The horn, Adam? The
Draghorn.
The Draghorn. They think it's doing something to cause these dragons to make moves, so maybe that blowing of that horn has made this dragon in this area very specific for what it's doing here. And it may, even though the other place, Cryovane, really ran rampant around Fandelver and caused a lot of issues with a lot of different species. Maybe this one, because it's here for something else, isn't trying to cause the same thing, because dragons are, inherently intelligent creatures, especially the older they get. So maybe it's trying to stay hidden and not cause a big scene, because if they think the Draghorn is here, then maybe they don't want people to know its location. So that,
Sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I don't think that we think the Draghorn is here. We're trying to find this girl, and the girl has information where it might be. Also, we were told that the ice hunters they're native here, so they might know where the ship is, for example, or where this lady might be laying around on the ground. So I think we should pursue diplomatic chances with the ice hunters. But also, in Phandalin, all of the land creatures, you weren't there, but from what I know from Kurtu was that all the orcs were attacking all kinds of people, all kinds of other creatures were attacking, being weird, and now we see these marrow. That was strange. And we see 3 trolls, which is strange. So I think it has a similar effect. So anyway, I think we should go to ice hunters and talk smartly.
Dragon's presence makes other predators and savage peoples more desperate for food and resources because it hoards them all. Is what you're getting at, I think.
Oh yeah. Oh, you are understanding me better, Spectre.
I know dragons.
Well, either or, right? But I don't think we should just boldly go into this people's camp.
Well, the
Right.
captain says he makes trades with them, so it would not be strange.
And you propose instead we sneak in, and then what?
Maybe we take a... I don't know. But I'm just letting you all know how I'm feeling internally. I don't like it. We see this little skiff, and then all of a sudden it leads us directly to the plateau we need to go.
Well, you say directly, but it took hours.
Well, yeah, but
We have no reason to believe that they're going to cause us harm, though. I mean, that's speculation. It could happen, right? We don't know. But we don't have any reason to suspect them yet.
Well, yeah, that's true, Kurtu, but satyrs are naturally suspicious creatures. So that's just normal for a satyr.
Well, the captain and his crew know these people better than we do. Why don't we get a little closer, and if they notice anything amiss, they can tell us.
And then we can always cure it by fireball if we need to. That would be fine.
Yeah,
No,
that would
we're
kill a lot of civilians.
we're going to cure it with with talking. Come on, Captain. Go. Let's go there. Pretend like we make trade and ask questions about about that iceberg, and we're looking for this lady. I don't see why we have to be so secretive.
We can certainly try that. To clarify, we've spotted them out and about. We don't really stop at their homes or their villages. I don't know exactly if that's what this is, but if we follow them straight to their home, then that might be different than, just running into them out and about. But I'm here to assist you as best I can. If you think it makes the most sense to continue following them, then we can certainly do that. I'm not even certain that they've spotted us yet, though it seems likely.
Well, the iceberg is where we have to go, and that's where they think something went wrong, so either way, we have to go that direction. If they've spotted us, whatever. If they haven't spotted us, great, but we have to go there at some point.
He looks at the rest of your companions. Do you all agree?
Yeah, maybe I am persuaded with Spectre's brains that maybe we just go to iceberg and then look around.
The iceberg is where they're going, right? Or did they go off in a different direction?
They are currently heading towards the iceberg.
How big is the iceberg, Adam? Is it like, could we sail around to the side and then pull a ship onto the iceberg and then get out and then kind of wrap around instead of following them directly into where they're going?
It's hard to say because from what you can see right now, you can't see the whole thing. It is very large, and it has, on the side that you're looking at where the canoe seems to be heading to, there is an area that seems to sort of smooth out almost like a ramp type deal to the actual water. And then you can see it kind of raises up, and it's more of like plateaued then. So this iceberg is very large. You can see there's almost like a natural, I'll call it an entrance onto the ramp or onto the iceberg from this direction. You don't know if there's something similar on the other side of the iceberg.
And I think it would look very suspicious if we look like we're trying to go around them. I mean, I'm sure if they saw our boat, they're going to be paying attention to us.
I just thought of something. So Captain says that he's traded with them before, so they may be not thinking it abnormal that he's here to trade or something along those lines, but they don't know that we're here on the boat as well. So maybe we can use that to our advantage.
What exactly are we afraid of right now?
I don't trust. It's just that there's a lot of things, Gertrude. Like, what if the dragon is close by, and these ice tribe people are working with him? What about that? Or what if maybe they know where this dragon's ice fortress is that we need to go to find this McCarth lady? Or maybe McCarth is just in the tribe village now. I don't really know.
I know. Maybe they ate magical mushrooms that made them turn into zombies too. You're right. We don't know that yet either.
No,
we don't know until we
do
go
you-
and check.
You've had magical mushrooms before.
I have, yes, it's happened. That didn't turn me into zombies, but yeah, mushrooms.
So
I mean,
we can be assured that there is a dragon in the area, though, because the animals around us are acting similar in the same way as they did with Cryovane. That is my 99% correct perception idea. So we must be careful about dragon. There's no doubt.
Yeah, let's be careful of dragons in the module called Rise of Tiamat. Good idea, Gale.
Astute observation.
As we're looking for dragon stuff.
No, because the animals are acting weird.
Yeah, I agree with you. I know it sounds like I'm being insincere, but that's just kind of the way I talk.
Well, some people say I talk funny. I don't understand why. It's okay.
You notice the captain. So, are we heading towards the iceberg or trying to go around it? What was the decision?
To the iceberg.
Agreed.
He nods, and you see he calls out to his sailors here. Iceberg, straight ahead! And that's where we'll go ahead and pause and take our 15-minute break, guys.
Woohoo! See you guys on a bit.
Alrighty, we're back on the second half of our session here. The group is currently on board their vessel and heading towards this iceberg that has a sort of ramp-type shape to it. And so, yeah, group, that's exactly what you notice as the boat pulls up closer and takes probably another 20 minutes or so navigating these various ice blocks, eventually getting to this location that is this iceberg. So you're noticing that as you get a bit closer... Whoop, I'm sorry, did I just hear a question?
Radio check?
I can hear you.
Yeah,
Okay,
we can
right.
hear you.
Yeah, for some reason I lost you. Sorry, I'm back.
All right, no worries. So yeah, as you guys get closer to the sort of ramp type area and the boat's pulling up, you can see that there are maybe 4 or so turned over of these fur-laden canoes that are anchored now on this ramp part of the iceberg. You don't see any of these people, as it seems as though as you guys were, sort of watching them, they maybe got out of your line of sight exactly before you were able to get right up to this ramp, and you presume one of these canoes is likely theirs, but you don't see any people at the moment.
Captain, can you get Jenkins, the guy who can speak their language?
Yes, just a moment, and you see he makes his way down below deck, and you hear him calling out for Jenkins, and it takes a few moments before Jenkins does indeed pop up. You notice he's one of the younger guys, looking as though he's a little bit, perhaps worse for wear. He doesn't look to be in the greatest shape, a little bit dirty, a little bit maybe malnourished or underfed kind of a look. You see he looks over towards you and says, the captain said you wanted to talk to me?
Yeah, Jenkins. We need someone who can communicate with these tribal people. Can you talk with them?
Yeah, I know the language.
Right. Do you want to come with us? Help us communicate with these folks?
Come with? I don't usually leave the ship. Come with you. Go ahead and give me a blind check here, Rasmus.
Right. Let me drag my token over.
Well, that sounds pretty dangerous. I suppose if you're willing to pay a hazard fee, I could come with you.
I'll pay your fee.
Okay. What do you think it's worth?
10 shiny gold pieces.
Oh, no way. No, at least 50.
How about 30, and if a fight breaks out, I don't let you die.
No, at least 50.
Okay. I'll pull out 50 gold for him.
And you see his eyes sort of get a little bit wide as he sees the coins, and you're counting them out, and then ultimately give them to him and put them in a pouch. He has this smile on his face. He says, okay, then, let's go.
So now that
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, because you told him 30 and you wouldn't let him die, and now that he took the 50, I'm just saying we may get that 50 gold back, you know.
Yeah. I'm not going to protect him for sure, but I just didn't want to mention that out loud. Cool, guys. Yeah, I'll hop over the edge and follow him, and I guess as we make our way towards this little encampment, maybe we'll walk over to their canoe and see if we can see their footprints and which way they go.
All right, you notice Jenkins does not take the lead to anything, so he waits for you guys to basically get off the boat, and then he does as well, and he makes sure that he is always behind you with his back towards the boat. As you make your way up to these turned over canoes, you don't see any people nearby. You can see these canoes. You can see a few odds and ends, like some oars. You can see like a pile of furs here or there. You can see what looks like some bones that you assume to be from fish, as it looks like maybe a fish cleaning area right here nearby the water. But you can see there's this kind of ramp up that leads over and up to this plateau.
Hey Adam, I think I was having sound difficulties beginning. Are they there? Does it look like they had to flee in a hurry? Can I check for tracks, or like if someone ran in the snow, I could probably see how the snow was.
You can certainly attempt to, yeah. So it sounds like you and Rasmus are both doing that. So you guys are you guys both proficient in survival?
Mm-hmm.
I
don't know about him. Yeah, I am.
We're
So
Fae.
One of you can go ahead and make the check at advantage. That'll be a blind check.
Go ahead, bud.
Yeah, so it's pretty easy to see. You notice that there is multiple sets of footprints that lead up this plateau, this sort of ramp up to the plateau. But you notice that there is quite a lot of different footprints here. You get the impression of like traffic going back and forth on a fairly regular basis.
You see that, Rasmus? It looks like it's a normal walkway. Huh. Seems normal to me.
Do they all look human, or is there like other stuff in there?
Dude, I don't know. I may double check and then see if I can hear something in my head.
Boot-sized shapes is all you can detect here.
They just look like boots.
And then wait, what is that? That looks almost like canine.
Oh, there's a... Oh, you see, Erasmus, you see this? What kind of dog is that? Is it a large footprint? Does it remind me of the bear prints kind of that took the ice troll?
No, it's significantly smaller than that.
Oh, okay. Well,
Does it look wolfish? Canine?
It does look canine.
Probably a guard dog or trained wolf of some sort.
Blood
But,
dog, hunting dogs, something like that.
Yeah, hunting dogs, it makes sense. But there's no blood or anything, right? It doesn't look like they got attacked by this large beast, does it, Adam?
You don't see any signs of a struggle here. You don't see any blood. Nothing that would give you the impression that there's been a fight right here.
Yeah, so I think they're traveling together. We just follow.
yes, we just march ahead. I'll go first.
Okay, so you guys are marching up towards the plateau?
There's no other way to go, right? It's just the one ramp.
I mean, it's the obvious way to go, unless you're willing to, try to scale part of the iceberg on the sides, or you're going to do something unconventional like fly or something like that.
Well, how tall is the iceberg? Or the walls near the walkway?
You could certainly reach the edge, so yeah, it's hard to visualize, and unfortunately they don't give us a good visual for this, but imagine it sort of as like you're on this very large island that's made completely of ice and snow. And the area that you guys are on, that your vessel is essentially attached to at this point, is sloping upwards towards this plateau. You can see the edges of the iceberg all around you, both to the east and the west. So if you were to, let's say, throw a pick or something and try to get it into the wall, you would have to kind of shimmy over there, and then you could technically try to climb around. I mean, obviously it's not going to be easy, but you could try to climb on the side of the iceberg if you chose.
So you're saying we could Skyrim this but it would have to take some dice rolls.
It would definitely be dice rolls, yeah.
Let's just go and follow the tracks for now. I mean, there's nothing that is too alarming so far. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I haven't seen any troll tracks to signify that those things that attacked us were working for him, so...
And remember, if somebody wants me to turn them invisible, I can do that too, and you can scout ahead, but that's up to you.
Can you disguise our footprints? There's a bunch of snow. Even if
Yeah,
But there's a lot of footprints. It's not... I don't know if they'd see you.
yeah, that's a good idea.
Why don't we save our magic for now?
Especially because it's hard for us to get a good rest out here. Resources are important, Kurtu.
Oh, I know. I'm just throwing ideas out.
That is an excellent idea. You are very, very smart. Let's just go up as normal people walking with our feet.
Okay. Norm. Yeah. Us.
All right, you guys ascend this with Jenkins hanging pretty well back from you all as you're making your way up this ramp. As you do, you can see you're climbing for quite a distance. It's not a really hard climb, but it is through snow. I'm presuming you guys all have your snowshoes on at the moment?
Yeah,
Yep.
I assume
Cold weather geared.
All right, and you notice that Jenkins has the same, so you're making pretty good progress up here. It's a little bit slow going, but not too bad. As you continue ascending, the first thing you spot as you get closer and closer to the plateau here is what looks like a wall of ice. This wall of ice is perhaps 25, 30 feet wide or so, and you can notice in the ice there is actually bodies that seemingly are frozen inside of this ice wall.
Any tieflings among them?
You're kind of far away to make out exact details, but so far you just notice like what I would presume to be primarily like a human-like face.
I mean, pretty obvious this is not natural as a survivor skill.
For an ice wall to be where this one is at the moment, you assume it's manufactured in some way, either through magic or somebody did something to create this here.
And this makes me very suspicious and nervous. Satyr suspicious.
How far away are we?
From the ice wall itself?
Yeah.
About 30 feet.
And do the tracks continue to just go right up to the ice wall, or do they skirt around it, or?
From what you can see from here, it looks like they go around both the west and the east side of the ice wall.
So they split up and went around.
So it must have been here a while then or something.
So, left side, right side, what are we doing?
I would have our eyes open for the old white death. Maybe it's time for a little invisibility thing. Because this is magic. This is not natural. This on ice like this, no.
But then what about the rest of this? Either way, we have to get past this, unless you want to go scaling.
And again, just to clarify, because I know we don't have a good image on screen for this, but this is not blocking your way. It's just a block of ice that is like a wall of ice, about 30 feet wide, maybe 8 feet high or so. But there's plenty of ways you can just walk right around this if you choose.
Let's just go around, yeah?
Okay, well, as we get closer, I'm going to look into the ice and try to find our tiefling female friend.
Well, what if we did send one person up, and then all of us went around, and then they followed us from up top? Like a bird in the sky.
Why are we scaling the ice wall? It's just a block. I'm confused.
And he said it was 8 feet tall, right?
Yes.
So
Let's
let's
We're gonna just go around.
Yes,
Yeah.
but
Whatever.
As we go around, I want to look and find the tiefling woman.
Okay, Gale, as you start getting closer to the ice wall to get a better visual of there, you hear the sound of barking dogs suddenly rings out both from your northwest and your northeast. And you can see from those directions, people begin to approach. They look to be dressed in these heavy furs and are holding onto spears. You see them point out towards you, and then they kind of start talking to one another in this language that you don't recognize. From behind you, you notice Jenkins also starts speaking in this language, and he puts up a hand and starts waving. You notice some of them back off right away, and others kind of stand there, and one of them starts speaking to Jenkins, and Jenkins seems to be understanding what they're saying, and the two, Jenkins and this tribesman, kind of go back and forth for maybe 30 seconds or so, and then he looks towards you guys and he says, "They said wait here because the chieftain's coming."
Okay, I'll wait here, and then I'm going to look into the bodies of the ice cave.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a blind check there, Gale, as you're looking into this ice wall to see if you can recognize any specifics. It's really hard, Gale. This ice is kind of opaque. You can definitely make out like the outlines, but the bodies aren't all like stood up in the same direction. It's really odd. It's almost looking like some kind of macabre mosaic here. You can spot what I would say are one that looks to be similar to the tribesman that you're looking at now. You see one that looks like some type of human man, and you're kind of still looking through trying to piece together what else is here when you notice this older tribesman walks nearby the younger tribesman, and you see a couple of younger looking dogs nearby as well. And you can see as he steps forward, he calls out, and you notice Jenkins sees him and he calls back out, and the two now exchange some words. And Jenkins looks towards you and he says, "The chieftain said, what do you want here? Why are you coming here?"
Oh, well, tell the chieftain good day, and it's a very fine island that you found, but we are specifically looking for a strange woman that would maybe have horns on her head or something, like a tiefling woman is who we are looking for.
He repeats that over towards the chieftain, and you see the chieftain once again speaks back towards him. And then moments later, you notice Jenkins looks towards you and he says he hasn't seen anybody like that. He says you should go because it's slippery here and it's dangerous.
Also, we're not welcome, Jenkins, to sit down and break bread.
He looks up towards the chieftain, and you look up to him as well. And then he looks back towards you and he says, he certainly seems to be saying that we shouldn't stay here.
Guys, I think we should just be honest and let him know that this was the last place she was seen. So maybe let us take a look around.
Yeah, for like an hour or something and see if we can find any sign of her. If not, we can be on our way and look for something else.
Jenkins, ask him if we can maybe rest in the village for an hour and catch our breath before continuing.
And what was her name again? Maybe she took had a spell to hide her horns or something. Maybe we should just ask for her by name.
Makoth.
Yeah, that's her.
Yeah, good idea. No way she would use a fake name if she was going far enough to disguise herself.
Oh, well, I don't know. I don't know, but I do know that there's a chance maybe she could use a spell to hide her horns.
So, Mr. Chieftains, we are on commission to search for her. If you would give us 1 hour to look around your village and this island, then we check the box and we move on.
You notice Jenkins repeats this. You see him kind of fumbling with his words a little bit, and you see he actually turns a little bit red, like you're wondering how well he's actually translating this. And then you notice the chieftain kind of speaks back towards him, and Jenkins looks towards you, and he said, the chieftain said if you're willing to give him some of your good steel, then he'll let you look around for an hour.
Get it back after?
He looks towards the chieftain, looks back towards you, and says, I don't think so. He said, give it to him.
Guys, I got 4 daggers from those cultists. We can just give him those daggers.
Yeah, let's see his reaction after you give him the daggers.
I think I know what he would want, because nobody here wanted it. I still got that dragon sword thing that goes in your hand. The claw weapon, dragonborn claw weapon. That's it.
Oh, that is very unique. He would like that.
I think he would. Mm-hmm.
So I'll draw out. Let's say I'll pull out 3 of those 4 daggers at him and hand them to Jenkins.
As you pull out these daggers, you notice the chieftain watching you, and then he says something in this language once again, and Jenkins looks back towards you and he says, No, he says he wants something bigger, like an axe, like your axe. And he looks towards you, Rasmus.
So I'll reach to my side and I'll pull out my 2 hand axes. And then I'll kind of cock my head to the side.
Let me try this claw weapon. Nobody else seems to want it, and it is kind of unique.
As you're fumbling in your pack here, Kurtu, Jenkins looks towards the hand axes, looks back towards the chief, and points with his thumb towards them, and you hear him speak in that language again, and the chieftain calls back, and he looks back towards you, and he says, okay, yeah, he said 2 of them. That'll work.
I'll hand them over.
And you see Jenkins kind of backs up. You could give them to him.
So I'll walk up and I'll kind of twirl them around my hands a little bit, as a Kensei monk. He's pretty familiar with all weapons, so he'll twirl them around his fingers and throw them like a baton and catch them, and then kind of turn and reveal them to the chieftain.
All right, as you do that at first, you see both the chieftain, this tribesman, and this woman is kind of approaching from the distance, getting closer, also dressed similar to these tribesmen. You see all of them adopt this sort of defensive posture, or maybe more startled than anything. But as you kind of flurry these and then present them, you notice the chieftain has one of the tribesmen take them from you, and then he says this thing in a language, and Jenkins calls out to you, Rasmus. He said he thinks you're a funny man, like a clown, or like you perform.
If he has drums, yes.
You notice the tribesman looking at the axe, kind of putting them back and forward in his hand as he holds onto the handle. He hands them over to the chieftain. You notice the chieftain looks at them and slides his finger on the axe blade and then looks as it's drawn a small bit of blood. And you see he nods and seemingly satisfied with this. And he calls out once again. And Jenkins says, he said, don't make any disturbances and don't bother anybody, but you can look around.
Cool.
All right, this is where you find yourself as you've now been given permission to look around.
So I'm going to look at everybody and say, hey, maybe we do a party of 2 split up here, kind of wander around, or all together. What do you think?
Why not all together?
Let's go all together.
How is this map the whole village?
No, so you're kind of going on one of the rises or plateaus of this iceberg, and you can see that there's others. Think of this almost as like a star-shaped pattern, right? And this would be like your north star of the platform.
Okay.
Hey, Jenkins, can you ask him, what's been going on lately? Maybe they've got some news that's been interesting that we can share news.
Okay. And you see he calls this out, and you notice the chieftain is already walking backwards, and the woman that sort of approached now turns to follow the chieftain. You notice the tribesman looks back towards the chieftain, looks back towards Jenkins. They kind of follow this look for a minute, and then the tribesman calls something out. Jenkins looks back at you, and he said, He said the chieftain didn't say anything about sharing news, just let you look around for an hour.
So what I want to do is keep a lookout. Like, I don't know, they're probably not going to have too much like lying out in the open just for us to like look at, but anything that is here, I want to look for signs of things that like seem out of place. Like the tiefling woman was a wizard, right? Or at least is affiliated with the Arcane Brotherhood. So like backpacks or stacks of notes or anything that might seem like it belongs to an academic or something that doesn't seem to fit in with like a hunting village.
Sure, yeah, give me a blind check as you're keeping your eyes peeled for that, Spectre. So you notice most of these folks, these tribesmen, are carrying these kind of more primitive like spears. Even the blades of the spears seem to be made of like bone or stone. But you do notice off to the east here, kind of leaning up against this tent, there looks to be an actual steel spear that's sort of just leaning there. It seems a little bit out of place.
Interesting. Is there anyone around? Can I like get closer to it?
There's what you see on the screen, but again, people are moving, of course, so you'll
Gotcha.
notice.
Are they like?
Yeah.
They're watching you very closely. Yes.
Okay, then never mind. From this distance, can I see if there's anything like blood on it, or does it look used, or is it like more like a trophy weapon?
You don't see any blood from this distance, but you think it would require more careful examination. It's not like completely obvious, anyhow.
Okay.
Adam, is this like a big tent here in the middle?
Yeah. It's and not so much a tent. Think of it as like a yurt.
Can I hear anything from inside as I'm like walking on its edge?
Based on your passive perception, it's fairly quiet. As you turn the corner, you notice a large man who is one of these tribesmen, and you see he just turns and looks at you and just kind of gives a snort.
I'm gonna say, Jenkins, come here.
Yeah?
Ask this guy in here, what is this yurt? Is this where they eat or?
And you notice Jenkins turns and speaks in this language, and the guy turns and looks at him and says in a very aggressive tone, speaking in this language back, and he looks back at you and he says, I don't think he's going to answer. He said something that wasn't very polite.
What did he say?
Are you sure you want to know?
Yes, Jenkins, I paid you 50 gold. Tell me what he said.
He asked if your mother was a goat.
It was my father. You tell him that.
And you see he turns and says this, and the guy looks back at you, and he holds onto his belly as his belly's shaking.
Now ask him again.
Ask him again if what's inside?
Yeah, ask him again. Say we're trying to be friendly. We're curious about this area and how they live, and it's cold. We've been cold. I want to know how the tent works.
He looks back towards him, and he says this once again, and you notice Jenkins wincing as he looks back towards you. And, well, he made some colorful comments about your mother and father, and no, I don't want to repeat it.
So I assume that you won't allow me to make comments about his mother or father either, huh, Jenkins?
I'm not going to say that.
This stuff over here looks different from other map artifacts. Does it stand out in any way? What are these things over here by this tent yurt thing?
Yeah, you can see what looks to be like some collections of odds and ends here. So this sort of represents where the snow has been kind of collected and pounched down. You can see that there's some areas where it looks like maybe ice has been kind of contained. Hard to say exactly what they're using this for. It could be almost like a water storage system.
Okay, these little spindly things over here are just like buckets or something?
It kind of, but they're like ice buckets, I guess you could think of it as.
Okay.
Hey Adam, I'm gonna come to the edge here and pretend or look like I'm looking over the edge, like I'm interested in something over the edge, but I'm intending to hear any conversations inside the yurt that I'm standing next to.
Okay, blind check. You do hear words spoken inside, but you don't you recognize it as being the same language that you've heard spoken here, and you don't recognize the words.
Oh, but do I recognize the chief's voice?
No,
His intonation.
you do not.
Hey Rasmus, come here. Hey, have your friend come with me and pretend like we're looking over the edge, and then have him listen inside the yurt.
Jenkins, you heard him, right?
Yeah, but I don't want to do anything deceivious.
It's not. Help. Just look over the edge with me. It's not. It's not crazy.
You're not going to push me over, are you?
No.
No.
I'm speaking in Elvish right now, so sorry.
Oh, okay.
He says, no, he's not going to push you over. That's ridiculous.
Now, listen to me, Jenkins. We are going to look over the edge, but I want you to pay your ears attention to the words spoken inside the yurt. Do you understand me?
Quiet.
Yeah.
Okay, shh. Now look over the edge, but pay attention inside with ears. Go.
And you hear him, or you see him trying to do just that.
Oh, Adam,
I go in. Oh, I don't
Ye-
speak the language either, so never mind.
seeing that door open and that person go into that yurt that guy's garden, did I see anything inside when the door was open?
It looks like it contains quite a bit of different supply type stuff. You can see like crates, or not really crates, but think of this as like containers of some kind. Looks like, yeah, I guess crates is probably the closest approximate. You can see furs kind of lined up. You only have like a moment to glance in there and spot this before it's closed before you.
Now, Jenkins, come over here. Okay, now what did you hear when you put your ear toward the yurt?
It sounded like somebody singing a song. Sunshine, rainbows, ice, something.
Oh my God! Thank you. You're very good. You're earning your money. Hey, Rasmus, I think the chief went into the one to the north here.
Look, I got an idea. I'm going to play a song on this lute you gave me. See if I can distract him a little bit from being so intensely watching all of us. And, yeah.
And
Jenkins, while I'm distracting him, you guys get a better look at stuff.
Well, I want to get inside of that door, and then they're just like gonna open the door.
Well, then, that's what you'll do then. Try to sneak in while I'm distracting him. Jenkins.
And Gale laughs finally for the first time in the entire campaign.
What did you want?
Tell everybody I'm going to play a song for them. They can come over here and watch me.
And you see him speak, and you hear the guy nearest to the yurt says something out loud, and all the other tribesmen start laughing. And you see Jenkins kind of hunches down once again. He asked if you needed something to tap your hooves against.
Very funny. I'm going to pull a lute out, and this is what it says in the handout about the lute of illusion. So, within a 5-foot radius sphere, centered on the instrument. Simple visual effects, blah, 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 blah. So let's have, is it a mixture of females and males in this encampment, Adam?
Yes.
Okay. Let's do the spectral dancer, but I want to make it look like a seal. Because they hunt seals, but I'm going to make this seal kind of swim around and dance around me while I begin to play a song from the Feywild.
All right, as you start playing, and then the magic takes effect, and you see the shape starts to go. You notice an immediate reaction from all of them as they grab onto their weapons and they point them towards this illusionary effect, and they all start shouting. You notice this guy actually moves away from this and just slaps right out at you. Go ahead and give me a defense roll as he's trying to smack at your loot.
Don't smack my loot.
You manage to sort of pull back as he swings his hand towards your loot. You pull back and you see he looks down towards you, just totally over top of you, looking down, and rah, rah, rah. He keeps shouting this, and you see Jenkins says he said stop playing your infernal music and don't curse with your magic ways and stop that. You got to go now because you've broke it. You got to leave. We all have to leave.
It's just music. Tell him it's just music. He's heard music, right?
He is essentially, you're not playing at this moment because he's looking down at you very aggressively so and getting ready to perhaps grab at this again as Jenkins says, no, he doesn't seem like he's in any mood. You notice the tent yurt opens from the northwest and you see the chieftain pops out and then closes the flap behind him very quickly. And you see he looks out and speaks, and then you notice the guy next to you speaks back to him, and then he looks towards you, Rasmus, and starts speaking again. And Jenkins says, "He said you're devil and you're a fiend and you have to leave."
Jenkins, tell him he said something about sharing songs and music, and we could look around. I just wanted to share part of who we were, and I'll put it away if they need me to.
He sort of repeats this, and you hear the tribesmen around you now kind of doing this rhythmic chant, and they're all chanting this one word, and you're not sure what this word means, obviously, but you notice the chieftain looks towards you and then looks towards Jenkins, and as he sees Jenkins speaking, he goes up to Jenkins and grabs Jenkins by the tunic here and kind of shakes him a bit as he's shouting, rah, rah, rah. And you notice Jenkins looks back towards you and he says, I think we really have to leave.
Seems like we've overstayed our welcome.
Okay, well, let's go. Let's go. Thank you for your hospitality. You're very friendly people.
And you see Jenkins speaking, and he's saying something, and you notice the chieftain lets go of him, and Jenkins looks towards you and says, yeah, okay, we can go.
Oh, sorry, guys. I didn't think a song would cause them to go crazy.
Yeah, they've done nothing but so I'll say the rest, but they've done nothing but insult us, and they're not very friendly.
Are they not friendly, or are they hiding something?
Well, probably both.
As you start exiting, you realize you haven't seen Kurtu in a while.
Well, actually, I was just realizing that now. I'm like, where's his little Kurtu button?
Where the fuck did Bill go?
I was stealthing around.
All right, you
Well,
guys
he'll
step
catch up.
off the plateau here and find yourself back towards the edge of the ramp. And yes, shortly there later, you do notice Kurtu kind of wanders up towards you.
Well, that didn't go very well.
So that wasn't the entirety of the giant iceberg with columns, right?
No, so this is like a star shape. So you guys were in the top of the star, but the platform kind of raises up, gets you to the middle, and then you guys walked north to get to that spot. There's like northwest, northeast, southwest, southeast kind of directions that you could go as well. But you can see all of these tribes people are kind of chaperoning you out, I guess you could say, once this event occurred. They've kind of created this kind of cordon near the top as you guys keep moving away. And now they're just looking at you intently as they're holding on to these spears and horn bows.
Well, just for the record, we're definitely leaving, but I cannot picture this map in my mind right now. A star shape, we walk to the north part of this. I hate to be this, but is it like a 5 stars?
Yeah, yep. So 5-star shape, and again, at each point of a star, right? So if you think of a star kind of turned a little bit, so it's inverted, you guys came up one of the ramp, and that's one of the stars, one of the edges or the points of the star, and then the others are elevated, so they're up on the plateau. So you can think of it as 4 sections that you can go to once you ascend, and the one that you went to was the one to the north.
So did we see any other ways to get to the other stars now that I understand the map?
Yes, you can see they look similar, though. They have tents, they have some yurts kind of laid out. It looks like all of these are dominated by these villager folks or tribes folks.
Did we get like a head count? Like, does it seem like there are about the same number of people in each quadrant?
I would say probably more than what you saw. It seemed like the way to the north was less populated than the other ways.
really don't want to have to murder hobo our way through this village.
No, but we're outnumbered.
No, I think Kurtu's idea of invisibility is a good one. We need to find out what is in those yurts. I mean, they were guarding them, and obviously hostile towards us visiting. I mean, if they've traded with those folks before, then you would think that it wouldn't have gone that way, right?
Yeah, that's my thought exactly. We traded with them too. We gave them 2 daggers.
Well, what the captain said, it made it sound like they met out on the water, and they never went to their village, precisely. They probably did business with people in canoes, and they ferried stuff back and forth, was the impression that I got. Maybe they just don't like outsiders at their homes.
Yeah, maybe, but do you really want to keep wandering around out here? I mean, this was the
No.
last known location, so
Yeah, you're right. This was the place we were told to look for. So there's obviously something they're not showing us.
we gotta
I
check
assume we're
that
away
box
from
off.
them now. Yeah.
You are, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we know they don't like music.
Didn't seem like they liked any kind of magic effect. They called you a devil for producing. I don't think it was the music. I think it was the accompanying spell casting. Or
So what do we think? I mean, we gotta go and infiltrate, but like you said, I don't want to just murder hobo all of these folks and puppies.
I don't think we can anyway if we wanted to.
I don't know. I think Kurtu could throw a fireball down there and wipe them all out pretty quickly, don't you?
Well, like you said, it's there are 5 quadrants. I don't know if that's right, but and if I just saw a dozen in that place, then that's 60 at least.
maybe we consult the captain. They've been up and down this area before. They might have some insight into their culture or something. We could find some way to earn their good graces. Maybe they've got like something they need help with, and then we can do that for them, and then maybe they'll be more inviting. I don't know. I'm just spitballing.
Yeah,
here.
it's a good idea. Like we can.
Maybe they. But look, they're warriors. They're hunters. I don't think they're gonna want us to go claim a prize for them. That doesn't sound right. Maybe a fight. You know, Gale, back in the Feywild, you know, when 2 dominant people would have a village discussion and then they would just brawl it out, and then whoever won, that just kind of settled the argument, and then you keep moving. You know?
Like at champions.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of corny. Champion.
Why you
So-
think you can challenge them for the right to be village chief or some shit?
No, you would just earn their respect. You'll see, it's all about
Yeah.
fighting and respect. It's barbaric in a sense.
I think I know which one they tell you to fight, though.
Yes, and he looked rather big and probably can hit 3 times, and I can only hit twice.
Yeah, well, I can absorb a lot of damage, you know? And I can hit quite a few times myself.
Well,
And he probably has 8d10 hit points, too.
well, I mean, that's a thought, but I don't have any indicators that they didn't say like, "Hey, come fight. We have a
It
champion."
seemed they
You look
really
like-"
just wanted us to
Yeah.
leave.
So there's no clue that that's a way of breaking into their graces. I don't have a clue yet.
Option two, we sneak in at night under the cover of invisibility or pass without trace or something, and hope they don't have too many sentries posted, or that we can like knock out the sentries before they see us. Seems a little aggressive though. If we
Yeah.
fuck it up, then we're in the middle of the village.
I just want to get into those yurts.
I think our best plan is to send someone invisible first and see if they can manage to break through and sneak in. Maybe we wait until nightfall, because 2 reasons. Because first, Spectre is going to be invisible anyways, and then Kurtu can make another person invisible.
Well, I'm
Yep.
only invisible unless they have torches, and did they all look like human?
They did, yes.
So they're probably going to have torches and fires lit, so I won't be able to move around.
Was there braziers there, Adam?
You didn't see any braziers, no.
Well, that's odd. I guess they would all be inside to keep warm.
Well, keep in mind, you haven't seen much of the way of metal work here. You don't imagine that they have any way of fashioning metal devices.
Oh yeah, that's a clue. They wanted
There was a steel spear.
And they wanted steel. So, oh yeah, maybe someone came and offered the steel spear earlier. Or yeah, they're collecting steel for some reason. Maybe that's a clue and get their graces.
We gave them steel, and it didn't earn us much in the way of...
Well, it did. It earned us an hour, maybe more, or something more useful, maybe a brazier. Maybe they could use a fashioned fireplace.
Give the
for
savages
their
the gift of fire.
Yeah.
Walk in like gods.
That's awesome. That's inspiring right there.
Why don't we go back to the ship for now? Maybe the captain has other ideas, but it sounds like we're going to have to try to use subterfuge here. I don't think Jenkins is going to want to come with us again. So if we do end up in a situation where they spot us, it's not going to be great.
Well, that's important to remember that they like steel, and they need warmth. If we just had an artificer around. Oh wait, we had one.
We had 2 even. Well,
that's right.
I only met 1, but according to the notes that I read, my people are very well informed, and my player is tired of pretending he doesn't know everything.
Does get old, doesn't it?
It makes sense for my backstory. I'll leave it at that.
Okay, so I heard head back to the ship.
Just for now. I don't want them to disembark, but I want to see if anyone aboard has any ideas. They've interacted with these people before, and maybe they have some insight on what we need to do to make them not pissed off at us.
All right, so group, you make your way back to the ship. You notice the ship is not pulled onto the iceberg. It's kind of close by, and it's been moored. You can basically see that there's lines going to chunks of ice that are on the actual iceberg, sort of attaching it. And yeah, you guys make your way back to the ship, up the gangplank that has been put out intentionally this time. And as you guys get on board, you do notice the captain there, and you see he looks towards you as Jenkins walks back in and happily heads down below decks quite quickly. You notice the captain sort of looks over towards you guys. Any luck? Did you find what you needed?
Well, Captain, to be honest with you, they were kind of assholes.
We did find evidence, though, that someone else has been here. That steel spear, we don't know who, but that steel spear seemed out of place.
Or they just traded for it before. That doesn't mean somebody actually came up here.
True.
Well, these people tend to be very proud people set in their ways. They have very specific ways they like things to be done, and they generally are very distrustful of outsiders. As I mentioned before, when we see them on occasion, we do trade some back and forth. They're usually happy to offer us furs or seal meat in exchange for typically weapons of steel fashion. That seems to be what they're most interested in. Occasionally some other things. But yeah, I mean, is there... you say that they were not very friendly. Is there any way of rectifying that?
We're trying to figure out. You said they're a proud people. Is there any way you can think of that we could appeal to their pride?
See, we were thinking maybe one of us fights somebody.
That's possible, but I wouldn't suggest it. If they suggest it, then it would be honorable to accept such a request, but if you suggest it, then it may just come across as you're trying to kill one of them. But, well, if you're trying to get them on your good side, I could invite their leadership down to the boat for a meal and make this as some way of apology to say we want to make sure that relationship between us and them remain good. If there's anything small as far as gifts that we could give them, that would certainly help. That would get them here on board and give us a chance to try to clear the air.
And while we're thinking about that, what do they think about magic? I mean, we
Seems like
just
they hated it.
that's what I think too. I just want to confirm.
I've only ever heard of shamans or those type of individuals associated. Anything that is really flashy is probably going to be looked at distastefully from them.
Well, now
Did
that you mention,
the woman who was with them look shamany?
It depends on, do all shamans look the same, but you might have got that kind of vibe from her.
so Captain, on that idea, there was ask Jenkins, a specific block of ice that had there were people trapped inside. That was not natural. It was arcane in nature, in my best guess. So, what do you think happened there? Why would there be a magic spell casted if they don't like magic?
A block of ice, you say? Are you sure it's arcane and not, say, the breath weapon of a large white dragon?
Oh,
Thinking back, does it look like a big splash of dragon breath weapon?
It looks kind of fashioned. If that was something that occurred, I would say both Gale and Kurtu, you guys have been at the other end, or at least seen a cold breath weapon from Cryovane. I would say it looks much stronger. If it was a breath weapon, it was much stronger than Cryovane's to be able to freeze solid like that. But when you looked at it, it also looked like it was kind of fashioned a bit. So if it was from a breath weapon, you think that perhaps there's been some work done on it afterwards to kind of sand the edges, that kind of thing.
yeah, I just realized we messed it up, guys. We should have said, "Hey, we noticed you guys got trapped in this ice thing. Where it looks like it wasn't a natural, it was a tragic mistake, and reminds us of a dragon we used to fight. And is there one around? And blah 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 blah." That would have
Are
done
you
it.
sure it's wise to mention dragons in
Yes,
front of
of
them,
course, of course. I'm kind of Brian is kind of wanting to run this a little more honestly than we ever have for the last year. To be honest, this doesn't really go well. So yeah, I think absolutely. You say, hey, I've seen this before. I've fought one of these. You know, we're happy to hunt him down. We're looking for this lady.
There's the possibility, though, that Rasmus suggested that they could be working for the dragon. If this was a breath weapon and it was fashioned as like their signpost, maybe they don't. Maybe it's to keep people away. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, Captain, you trade with other colonies or villages as well? Not
We
just this
typically
tribe?
call them tribes. I didn't catch the name of this tribe, did you?
No, I
Jenkins,
didn't.
did you? Oh, he went to below deck. Fuck.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know that we've traded with these individuals specifically, but yes, we've traded with different tribes out here.
Many of them have this big ice wall that surrounds their encampment. Is it common?
None that I've heard, no.
There you go, folks.
Keep in mind, as I mentioned before, we typically don't go to their homes, to their villages. Those are private areas of just theirs. We meet them out while they're fishing or hunting, and we are often doing the same or traversing, and they're more friendly. There's nothing at risk. When you go into someone's village, that's where their women and children are, so naturally they're going to be a little bit more on edge.
Did we see any children around?
You did not.
That's interesting. Well, it sounds like the only path forward for us, unless we want to sneak in, get caught, and have to fight our way out through God knows how many people, is try to invite them to the ship and see if we can make good.
Yes,
That's a great idea. We can get him to the ship for dinner, and then if the
Then we
door
can be
opens
more
up,
honest about our
yeah,
intentions if that's what you want to do.
yeah, and then we could talk about that ice wall and maybe revenge if we feel like that they're angry, and we'll maybe learn if they're in cahoots with the old White Death or if they're angry at the old White Death.
The captain looks and says, "Okay, I will speak with Jenkins and see what I can arrange. I, I don't know how much I have on deck here to be able to give away as a gift. Foodstuffs, things like that, I could certainly arrange. But do any of you have anything of significance that you're willing to part with that maybe they would take a shining to?"
Kurtu has a funny looking thing, and I'd be willing to give up a healing potion for them.
I've got some javelins I can give away.
And I got a whistle.
I have this piece of jewelry from back home also.
Obviously,
I feel like
whatever
they'd
you can
want more
give them,
practical things.
the more the better. But yes, I think your friend Spectre here is correct. Practical things are of more value to them. Fancy or pretty things that they don't place much value in.
All right, so
Right.
I got a healing potion, and we got Kurtu's unique weapon.
Yeah,
I got it.
here's 2 javelins. How about that?
Okay, 2 javelins, that weapon thing from Kurtu, a healing potion.
I have a miner's pick. Do you think they'd like a miner's pick?
It's steel. If it's in decent shape, yeah, they would probably like that.
Yeah, it's brand new. Here, take it. Well, how about no, I want to keep the miner's pick. Look, there's a lot of ice around, and I feel like if we get in a situation where we get encased in ice or trapped behind an ice wall, we might need this to just chop down the wall. So, how about this very nice shovel here?
I suppose they might find some use in a shovel. You see, he's looking at what you guys have offered up so far. To be honest, it feels a bit meager, if I can say so. We can try with this, but if we embarrass or shame him because our gift is not appropriate, that may be the last straw for any of us to try to rectify this relationship.
I'll give 2 healing potions. Who doesn't want a potion of healing? I'll give 2.
What about that bag of holding, Kurtu?
Oh, we're not giving up the bag of holding.
Not giving up the bag of holding, but is there anything inside?
I had a claw weapon, but I'm willing to give that up. How
that
about... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, is that all you have to offer?
I don't have much stuff, you guys. I mean, I got a bedroll. I've got an extra...
No,
I do
but
have
just-
an extra dagger. I got 2 daggers. I could give one up if
There
we
you
need
go.
to.
Good job, Kurtu.
I'll draw Mercy. And it looks like her heart is fucking breaking. It's like, it's an elegant katana, 1,000 times folded fucking Nippon steel. This was the blade I used to kill my first man. If it's that important,
Well,
it
I
has
think
sentimental value, but
You notice the captain looks at it and then he looks towards you. Not to be rude, but I think they will think of this as a impractical weapon. It's based on quickness and speed, and they're a brute force
longsword.
kind of people.
well, so much the better. I put it back away.
Things like axes, hammers, anything that's large, and tools, those kind of things, those would all be helpful to them.
Fine. I can have my grappling hook too.
I have a crowbar.
Well, you decide what it is you're willing to give as a gift. Go ahead and just set it here. He motions to a place on the deck. I will go let the crew know to prepare a fine meal, and I will get Jenkins to invite them, and we'll see how this works. And yes, if you guys can type into chat what it is that you're putting in for offer, and you notice the captain makes his way off to talk to his crew.
I really don't have much for this, huh?
Okay, so we will fast forward some time here as Jenkins has headed back up just a very small bit of the ramp where he finds one of the tribesmen, speaks with him, and eventually comes back and he says that this offer has been accepted and that the chieftain is coming down with his trusted right-hand man in order to engage in this conversation, eat a good meal, and discuss, try to fix this relationship. Is there any preparations you guys want to make before this occurs, or do you want to fast forward to that?
Yeah, the preparations are going to be us getting together and just come up with some type of plan for this dinner, and someone take the lead. So I suggest, and it could be vetoed, but that we apologize for the music and all that, and we did notice the people on the side of the ice, and wonder about his thoughts about that, who did it, and whatever, and then offer our services, because I think you guys could help us find what we are looking for, which is that woman.
Maybe ask them if there's something I can do personally to apologize for playing that music and spooking them.
You notice the captain looks towards you, Rasmus. I hate to say this, but it may be best if you're out of the way. I think it's your horns. It's kind of set them off. They've have in their mind, based on this magic that you've done and your horns, that you're not natural.
What do they think of the kobold? Kercha, did it seem like you were unwelcome there?
They loved me. It happens.
Who doesn't?
That's what I'm thinking.
Were they particularly liking your presence?
They didn't seem to mind me.
Okay, then you shall take the lead and be in charge.
Wait. How is you covered in scales any different than me having horns?
I don't know. Maybe they like dragorns.
Or dragons. That's the
And
point.
I wasn't casting my fireballs at him either.
Maybe they like dragons, and so they like Kurtu.
Maybe it wasn't necessarily the horns. Maybe it was the combination of the horns and the magic. They let us in their area with you there, and then when you cast the magic, then they decided they weren't as friendly with you. Don't take it personal. There's always another iceberg with other people we can offend.
Well, if you said they like you, then you should be in charge of this this talking.
I don't know if they like me, but they didn't hate me.
No, you said they loved you.
Well, I'm just assuming because everybody. I mean, I'm Kurt too.
Not everyone loves you, Kurtu. But I think you're a wonderful person. But I don't think everyone loves you. I just think that's not true.
Yeah, there's a lot of
surreptitious gagging.
yeah. There's some people with some scrupulous feelings out there.
All right, so Rasmus is out of the diplomacy. So Spectre, you're good with people.
I'm just gonna put on one of those padded robes and throw the hood up and kind of stay towards the back.
You can serve us food. No, they'll see your feet.
Oh, by the way, in addition, I bought a Dungeoneers pack. But I just says Dungeoneers pack. I don't have everything individually put down. So let me look that up to see if I can add anything to our...
But they've already accepted it. Why do you want to give them more?
Well, they
A
don't
tip?
know what we... Oh, did we...
They've
I'm
only
confused.
accepted the invitation. They don't know what you're
Yeah.
presenting as a gift yet.
All right,
Oh,
give me
okay.
a second while I look it up, and then I'll let you guys know.
Okay, yeah. So they will obviously come down, have the meal, chat, and then the gifts will be presented near the end. So that's okay if it takes you a moment to populate those. Is there any other preparations that you guys would like to make before they come down?
Gil, you were saying something to me. What was it? I heard my name.
I was just saying that you're particularly good with people. Maybe you should take the lead in the conversation.
Absolutely not.
Oh my
What do you mean
goodness.
good with people? I'm good at stabbing people. Is that what you want me to do?
Okay,
I don't
then,
think that's very appropriate for a diplomatic meeting, though.
well then it's on Gerthu because he said that they loved him. So Gerthu, we'll have you back.
It's like this motherfucker has never met me.
Wonderful.
I say to some random crew member nearby.
The guy looks away like, oh.
Not getting in the middle of this. All right, so it sounds like you guys have your preparations ready to go. So a few more hours pass by as it's late afternoon at this point in time. And sure enough, you notice a group of these tribesmen coming down, led by the chieftain, and then that very large man is nearby him. And you can see them approaching, getting closer, getting closer. They then get to the ramp, and you notice they kind of look and talk with one another, and then they start ascending the ramp, and they're kind of eyeing it carefully as they do, and then eventually they get on deck, and Jenkins is there as the captain speaks, and Jenkins is doing this translating, and you see there's like little chairs and stuff that have been put here in the center of the ship for everybody to sit, and he has like these places of honor. You could think of it as like head of the table he gives to the chieftain, and then he's on the other head, and he allows you guys to sit on the sides. The big gentleman just kind of stands behind the chieftain, looking at you all through this conical helmet and just kind of eyeing you as he just sits here as a big bag of muscle. And you notice the captain then kind of goes through this perfunctory discussion with the chieftain, and again, Jenkins is doing all the translating. It seems to be going decently well, and food and drink are brought out, and the chieftain is offered his pick of what he likes, and you notice the chieftain kind of just picking through some of this food. Once he gets to what looks to be like dried peanuts, and he starts eating some of those, he seems to be really impressed with these and keeps eating more of these, and then hands some of them over to the big guy and just seems to be really enjoying these, and then looks over towards you guys and again speaks a bit more. And eventually it gets to a point where things seem to be going pretty well, and then the captain starts revealing the gifts that you've all given to him as he puts the potions down from Gale, and Jenkins explains. You notice he looks up, the chieftain looks up towards the big guy looks back down, and then the chieftain speaks once again. Jenkins seems really relieved, like, oh, that went pretty well. And then as each additional item is put forward, you notice the chief kind of looking at them. He looks really perplexed by the grappling hook, like he's looking at it, kind of eyeing it. And then you hear some words exchanged between the chieftain and the big guy, and then the chieftain seems like, oh, now he understands. And then this kind of goes on as all of the different things that you guys have provided. And eventually the chieftain looks back, speaks to the captain, it's translated one more time, and then the captain looks at you all and says, it seems as though things are going pretty well. If there are specific questions you'd like to ask him, feel free to do so. And you see he looks towards Jenkins. Make sure you translate this in the best way possible. We don't want to offer him any offense. And Jenkins nods. Yeah, of course, boss.
Perfect. Tell them thank you for coming. We'd love the opportunity to get to know them better.
Jenkins looks towards you. I'm not going to say that. No, they would hate that.
Okay, well, just tell them it is an honor to have them at our table.
And he nods, and you see he says some words. And you notice the chieftain hears you say that, and then looks towards you, and he says something. And then Jenkins looks back towards you, and he said he's never been at a table with a scaly person before, and he's finding it kind of interesting.
And I nod, and I thank him for the compliment. That's nice. It was wonderful. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to visit your people. It was our honor to be there.
And he says this to the chief, and the chief kind of waves his hand like, let's get on with it. You get the impression. And Jenkins looks towards you and says, he says, no, thank you, but yes, what questions? He says he's in a hurry to get back.
Wonderful, wonderful. Ask him about, we are very curious on the ice wall that was in the forefront of their village.
And you notice Jenkins asks this, and you notice the chieftain kind of takes a moment as he shuffles in his chair, and then he speaks up once again, and Jenkins is nodding, and then once this is done, he looks back towards you and he says, he said that it was created by a dragon, but the dragon died like a year ago. He was killed by some frost giants.
We too have met a white dragon, but a young one in our area, in our town, so we understand the challenges of dragons. And may I ask them their relationship with the dragon? Was it a friendly dragon or a foe?
He repeats this question, and then you notice the chieftain speaks up, and he looks back and he said, he said that they just tried to stay out of its way because they're just trying to survive out here.
Let him know that we were able to defend our village from a dragon, and we understand that, and we are wondering if they have had any other people coming out here looking for dragon information prior to us.
He repeats this and then looks back towards you and says, he says he's got nothing to add to that.
We saw that he had a very nice spear. We're assuming he's made some trades with others. Does he remember those people, and was it recent?
While he's asking these questions, can I side-eye the chieftain a little bit? I'm trying to get an impression if he's being honest with us or if he's trying to be evasive. Is there anything in his body language, like hesitation or anything when he says stuff like that?
You can make a blind check, but it will be at disadvantage as you don't speak the language, so it's hard to kind of piece together the points in time when he's speaking versus body language.
Sure. I gotta drag myself on here real quick.
And as to your question, Kurtu, as he repeats this question and looks back towards you, Jenkins says, he says that the hunters, they trade on occasion. They don't keep track of who they trade with, though, so he can't tell you when the last time it was.
And what was the late...
Sorry, I was going to say, Spectre, you don't get any strong impression one way or the other.
What was the lady's name? I'm sorry, I didn't write her name down. Morrow?
The tiefling that you're looking for?
Macaw.
Yeah. And I'll say, our city we are fearful of dragons in our area, and we are trying to find the Lady Macath because we believe she knows how maybe we can cause the dragons not to harm our cities.
And you notice Jenkins takes your words and communicates them. Go ahead, Kurt, to give me a blind check. I'm also going to take this at disadvantage because it's being translated through Jenkins. Yes, you notice after this brief conversation, Jenkins looks back and he says, the chieftain says he understands your plight but can't help you.
To ask him if he knows anything about any underground chambers or something where the dragon used to reside.
We would like to confirm where the dragon's lair was in hopes that we make sure that there's no other dragons that may be haunting us, that may be also residing in this cavern now that it is empty by the white dragon.
All right, and you notice Jenkins translates this, and then the chieftain speaks kind of at length here, going on for quite some time, and eventually Jenkins is nodding, he looks back to you and says, I hope I'll get all this. He said it's far, far to the northeast. You got to keep going as far as you can go. there's a place where it gets really solid because it's so cold that like the chunks of ice are all solid. And he said that the dragon's lair was there. It's like many days to the northeast.
I'll nod my head. I'll look around to the group and I'll go, do we have any other questions that anyone can think of? I'm not sure what else we could be asking this chief. Maybe we can ask him if there's other tribes that may be able to help us.
So I'll say the Jenkins, and then I'll switch to Elvish. Do you understand me?
He shakes his head. I only speak common
Oh,
and this language.
Okay. So then, tell the chief that we have fought these dragons, and we're sad of the loss of your fighters, but we are not we to think that it died a year ago. It may be still alive. The only person who can help us is this tiefling lady. Please, did you see her ship adrift anywhere? She knows that she could help us to prevent you people from being caught anymore with the dragon.
Above board question. When were we told that Aura, whatever his fucking name is, attacked the other thing?
Old White Death. That's
Yeah.
easier.
Attacked Luskin? Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah.
Many years ago.
Okay. Did we get the impression from talking to our contact in Waterdeep that the dragon was still active? Like, is what we were told back then conflicting with what this guy said that the dragon died a while ago?
A year ago.
Yeah.
Hard to say because he's saying the dragon died a year ago, assuming it's even the same dragon that you're looking for. The dragon that Old White Death, that what Dalo told you about, again, it's not like she would know within really point accuracy of when this dragon, the last event, but she would say that this is known to be a dragon's not lair, but like the location that he hunts in. So it's hard to say. Is it possible the dragon died a year ago? I mean, maybe.
So then I will say that. Have you heard the sound of a horn that makes a noise or shakes around? Have you heard that noise? Because we heard it too. It's associated with dragons.
And you notice Jenkins translate this once again, and the chieftain speaks back, and then you notice the chieftain stands up, and the bigger guy behind him, and Jenkins looks towards you, and he said, he says that, yeah, he heard or felt something, but he's got to go now. He's got to get back to the village.
When he asked that and then he stood up, did it seem like a shift in his mood?
It seemed like he had been getting antsy for a while and was wanting to leave, and this is as long as he was willing to entertain this is your best guess. Again, not speaking the language, it's really hard to try to piece those kind of things together. But yeah, you'll see he stands up, and you'll notice that the captain steps forward and says some things. Jenkins translates for him real quick, and the chieftain nods, and the big guy takes all this stuff that you guys have put on the table for him and just kind of scoops it all up in his hands and carries them away as the two of them begin descending down the gangplank.
That was abrupt.
Anyway, I was going to offer him another healing potion to stay that he's off the plank.
All right, and as you notice the chieftain and the big gentleman walking back up this icy ramp towards the plateau, you notice the captain looks at you guys, and this is, he's kind of curious as to whether or not this has resolved anything or if you guys have thought of anything here. But as we are at the end of our session time here, guys, I guess what I will ask is, what is your plans for next session?
These motherfuckers are hiding something, I think.
Oh yeah, this dude. The more questions we ask about the dragons, the more he starts getting uncomfortable. I think when they get far enough away, Kurtu needs to make someone invisible, and someone needs to follow him.
I say it's I think it's Spectre and Rasmus.
I can't see in the dark, so it's gonna have to be you, bud.
We know where they're going, so why don't we go back to our fallback plan of trying
No,
to
but
sneak in at night.
No, it's
And-
important now, right? Imagine a meeting that goes bad and someone goes back to their office and makes a bunch of phone calls, right? Like you want to know what those phone calls are being made.
But I
So-
can't understand what they're saying.
But at
So-
least maybe you could see where they're meeting.
Yeah, I mean, it may be that we don't, we can't interpret what they're saying, but we need to know where they're going. Because this is my train of thought, guys. Like that big giant ice wall, he said it was caused by the dragon. It's got bodies in it. Didn't, like, wouldn't. I'm trying to remember, but after we fought that dragon Cryovane in Fandelver, didn't the area, like, change over time? Right? Didn't some of its lair stuff slowly go away? So wouldn't the same thing happen here if the dragon was dead? You know
And
what I mean?
Those bodies, I mean, I don't know if they've been in ice for a year, right? Like it seemed like I don't know.
I don't think we got a good impression of how long they've been there.
My thing is let's get some of it. If you don't understand them, I think right now imagine a meeting going bad and you want to know what that person's going to go to next right away. Even if you can't hear them, it might be useful. So I say we go now, invisibility, boom.
And one
so
thing
that's
I'll
one proposed plan so far is cast invisibility on 1 or 2 party members, send them up to sort of tail and see what you can find out. Is everybody on board with that, or other thoughts?
I'm just
I don't
going to
see
say this. I can cast invisibility on 2 people. I would have to burn a spell slot to get some sorcery points back, but I can do 1 or 2, but it would cost double if that makes sense. So
Well, Spectre, you're not invisible in dark and dim light, or just hard to see. That's a difference, right?
I am invisible unless there is a source of light. Like if they've got torches or something, then I wouldn't be able to enter that that area without them spotting me. And also there's deep snow, which I guess I could cast Pass Without Trace. I think that conceals footprints, so I could do that and stack invisibility on top of me, and then I would be relatively undetected. But I feel like I don't see what. I feel like the best chance of finding something is like sneaking in at night, and then like most of them are gonna be asleep. I can probably sneak into one of those yurts or something, like that big central one. I don't think they're gonna guard it all night, especially if they think we're done here. So they might have like a sentry, but I can sneak past them if I'm invisible and under Pass Without Trace pretty easily, I think.
Okay, so
So-
it sounds like we're not leaving this island, though, Adam.
Absolutely fucking not. These motherfuckers are lying to us, I think.
Okay, fair enough. So
that-
then I will
that-
assume your plan for next week is some kind of stealth mission to learn what you can and then go from there.
yeah, because
Alright.
I don't think we have enough else to go by. To be honest with you, I'm like the only other thing I can think of is just keep on going around to different icebergs, right?
Well, this is the iceberg that was described to us. So, I mean,
Right, I
we were
understand
told,
that.
we were
Right.
told that she disappeared here, and the guys that live here are saying no, we never saw anything like that. So,
Yeah, never seen her. It's like
Right,
it's like
and-
if somebody robs a store and all of those guys who are standing outside smoking a cigarette, and the cops like, "Did you see anything?" Mm-mm. I ain't never seen that guy ever.
it just gets stitches.
Right, and all I'm saying is that I don't know what else to do other than this. Is what I was trying to get at.
No, yeah, I think I think maybe over this week, Adam will come up with a plan for infiltration through Discord. But I think we definitely are trying to uncover what exactly is going on here.
Okay, fair enough. So that will be the assumption then, guys. So I hope everybody enjoyed this session. And when we come back next week, it's going to be an infiltration mission to see what you guys can learn. So yeah, have a good night, everybody. We'll see y'all next week.
Yep. See you guys. Good job.
Later, guys. Great session.